What is this place? Too quiet. Maybe not. I was expecting a warmer welcome.
Your fame is justified after all.
Give me a reason to blow your brains out.
You are a king without a crown. And I am a queen with an arsenal. You seek fame, but I don't mind being hidden in the mist. Bring me the legendary suit, and in return you will have fortune and respect as a true hero hunter. What do you say?
Do you think he'll use his Bushido skill, or his dual sword attack?
Or the legendary outfit.
That'd be the best thing that's ever happened! My balloon! You could be a hero, Leon! You're fast and strong and a total robotics genius!
You're cute, sis. But these guys are megastars. I'm just me.
Hey!
Only 3 left in the game.
Oh no! Hayato's alone!
But look, he's got an opening.
Team Hayato wins!
For one more player, I'm afraid my friend doesn't play fair. Bring me that suit.
We've got to help!
Leave it to the pros, Amelie. Amelie! You okay? Are you hurt?
Leon!
It's my suit. Eliminate him.
Hey, new guy! Need a hand? Yo, think fast! You see that?
That wasn't me!
Amelie! Amelie, where are you?
Leon!
Amelie!
Give me the suit. Now!
Stop! Stop! I'll give it. Just let her go.
No, Leon! Don't!
Hey!
You're in trouble now, bony face.
No!
too! Did you see my brother? He was so freaking amazing!
I think some others saw him too.
Well, Megastar, what you gotta say?
Booyah! Yeah!
Survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finish in the top 6 for their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the open qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the last chance qualifier. The last chance qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
Hello, Free Fire friends. My name is Matrim. Joining me on the other side of this is going to be Mustache Dave, and we're going to be running you through all of the action. And Dave, it has been brewing for a while to take us into the thick of the group stage, and it looks like we're up for some good action today.
Heck yeah, we got Groups A versus Group C. We saw last week, Group A, they had their opportunity to kind of get warmed up, get the feel of the lobby. Now we're throwing in Group C. So I'm looking forward to today. We got a couple matches here today, Matrum, but at the end of the day, there's only one more day, and that's going to be tomorrow for the group stages. And remember, top 8 go to the finals, so this is a big day for Group A.
There's a lot to go over here, so we're just going to run through everything, almost everything set up to get into games. So guys, we have been going for a while now. Started off with a round of 192, working its way all the way into the group stage. You can see that we're in the 3 weeks of that going on right now. Then after that, next week, I believe, we're going to be having the last chance qualifier and then move on to the grand finals. So there's a lot of action to be had. And if you're hyped about what's going on in the grand finals, make sure you are tuned in today, tomorrow, and last chance qualifier, because that's where we're going to see a ton of stuff. On top of that, look at this prize pool coming off. This is just for the grand final, though, guys. Keeping that in mind. Once everybody gets qualified for that stage, this is the money that is on the table.
Yeah, and some, interesting cash prizes that really interest me is the Booyah team. So the team that gets the most Booyahs, and then the Killing Machine up there at the top, the $500. So honestly, there's money for all types of accomplishments here in this lobby. And that's, I think, what makes it pretty special is that everybody can come into these matches and try their best and try to get a pot or a piece of the cash pot. And we can see the prizes right there. First place, $12K. 12.5K. So
that's what makes it so fun, is the fact that everybody has an opportunity to climb up, prove the fact that they deserve to be the best of the best, North America for Free Fire. Speaking of that, we've got a ton of groups that we're going to be looking at, but specifically today, we're going to be looking at groups A and C. If your favorite team is not playing today, hey, but that just means that you need to be tuned in, because you need to know who they're going to be competing against.
Yeah, we saw last week Wasaka Esports in Group A and Ozark Esports in Group A. 2 teams that really performed quite well. But then when we had the opportunity to check out the overall leaderboards, they didn't move very much. So I was really surprised. So I'm hoping today they can kind of continue with that momentum that they had last week and really capitalize on those overall leaderboard points. But today, we mentioned we're introducing Group C, so we'll have some, fresh teams in the lobby here. And here is the map rotation here, Matchroom. 6 games today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of whatever you want. If you're a Free Fire fan, we got 2 Purgatory, 2 Bermuda, and 2 Kalahari for you to just dive right into, much like the guy on the Bermuda graphic there, swimming through it. But I mean, we're almost set and ready to go. So Dave, before we jump into anything, is there any points that you're wanting to tackle beforehand as we take a look at this overall leaderboard?
I'm looking forward to the Kalahari, Calamari, the last 2 days or 2 maps of the day here. But yeah, back to the leaderboard here. Ozark and Wasaka, we can see them in 14th and 15th place. I really want to see those teams pop off today and kind of continue on with that momentum. I know Wasaka was a great squad at capitalizing on getting center almost every single map and pretty much holding it down. So I think when we look at them today, we have to think, okay, they're going to go center. They're going to hold it down. They're going to get placement points. But what we need to see from Wasaka in particular today is try to get kill points as well. Because remember, top 8, that's the goal right now, Matchroom.
Yeah, I mean, just being able to avoid last chance qualifiers is just going to be such a breath of relief because then you know you're in the money. You've already qualified for the grand finals. So every bit that you can put in these next 2 days is going to just be that relaxation moment. But even if you don't manage to make it in those top 8, this is still a chance to learn everything that you possibly can about your competitors and about what you need to try to tackle and improve on in the next week leading into the last chance qualifiers, because that's going to be hectic, to say the least. Like, this is going to be a little bit more comfortable. Like, the teams that are strong right now know that they have the strengths, and they might bully a little bit. But really, it's all about the build-up leading into what could be the last chance qualifiers, and then to tie it up in the grand finals. Yeah, we're getting the jams going over here, Dave.
The war drums, Matchroom, the war drums. You know what time it is. The players, they're in the lobby. They're getting ready to go. We're about underway with game number 1. But I agree with you, Matchroom. It's going to be exciting because you got teams competing for top 8, but then also teams, they will have that second chance qualifier, so keep that in mind. Even if they don't make top 8 today, we will for sure see them once again. But Matchroom, match number 1 out of 6, day 5, A versus C. Let's go.
All right, plane is up and in the air. I mean, we're just going to have to see how the drops come through, all considered. Taking a quick glance over at the map, you can see it's going to be a fairly eastern plane path, ending up over Quarry to the west. Some long spreads already coming into play, but it looks like nothing too feisty based off of what we've seen so far, but not too many people have dropped. Looks like this is going to be a late drop for a lot of these squads.
Yeah, I'm really looking at a couple teams here. So Ozark dropping out real early on. They have a nice little position for the time being all the way up there in Forge. They have nobody near them. And then to the north is Wasaka. But a couple teams that I'm going to have my eye on here besides Group A. Group C, Team Money, Team Cash Money. They were on the left side of the leaderboard, so they definitely have a lot to play for. They are so close to getting that top 8 spot. Today's the day to try to leap up there. And, well, looking at golf course Matchroom, I see 2 teams kind of next to each other. Oh, over here too.
Man. It looks like Stepdad just always seems to be in the middle of these fights around what's going on. Gotta be careful. Now just caught up. They're gonna go ahead and throw down the shield, get a little bit of time to work with. Prince on the outside of it's got a couple of beat on this, but good retaliation between the two, just making sure that they can get the most out of the defense that they've been able to set down. Good Gill's gonna already start this one off. Syndicate finding the drop onto Kelvin on the other side of it. Mario trying to get some revenge, does get a knock on Irvin, but has to be very, very careful. It is a quick flush coming out from both sides of this as both teams are just trying to get right up in there, and the glue wall just coming up right at the perfect opportunity. Double it up to buy a little bit more time.
Clutch glue walls right here. We are seeing them pop back and forth. Not only that, but the time turners as well to be able to soak up some of this damage, but it just wasn't enough. I believe that's going to be Syndicate knocked down and out here. We saw Syndicate last week. They recently the dance moves.
Oh yeah, yeah. I like it. Vibing a little bit, just showing the dominance.
But yeah, Syndicate, they recently got picked up last week, and we're kind of theory crafting like, you know, you just got picked up, you got a lot of pressure, and you really need to perform. And it's kind of the same story we saw last week. That I was kind of hoping that they would have went back, watched the footage, watched the VOD, and tried to come up with a strategy to avoid this, because Syndicate, they did go out early last week as well, a couple games in a row. So early game, just not their style of matchup, and that's okay. You know, not everybody's fresh off the drop able to really hit them shots without the most optimal loot either. So like, it's totally understandable. But today's like crunch day for me. Group A.
Yeah.
Today's the day. Like, you can't afford these games where you get no points.
And it looked good for Syndicate off the start. I mean, they got the initial down on what was going on. They used a lot of their defensive tools early based off of that, while the other side of it just went for a little bit better of weapons to bring it into play. And so they came in stronger. So they did take a casualty earlier, but by taking that casualty, it gave them the capabilities to win the rest of the firefight. And you can see that, because that's a lot of what we're looking at whenever we look at Free Fire, is going to be decision making, sometimes having to make the smart call to sacrifice, sometimes sending somebody else to be a distraction, somebody off on the side angle as well. There is power in numbers, but there's also power sometimes in being a distraction and providing tools and timing for your team.
Yeah, kind of just to wrap it up, put a bow on it. I really thought Stepdad was going to come out on top. I saw Stepdad with a P90, and that thing is just shreds up close and personal. But over here, we got TM, Team Money, and JP kind of taking some shots back and forth. Freestyle right here. Man, talk about just dodging these bullets getting sprayed upon right on top of them. They are going to be in the front lines, though, match them kind of off by themselves. Their teammates, it looks like they're still looting behind them.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the nature of the beast with these early game fights. Sometimes you just have to have somebody that holds the line for you to give you the time to get all the other stuff in place for your squad. Just taking a couple of shots, and I think that's going to be where we're going to see it. Team Money not really wanting to push this one. I'm not too surprised off of it. That could be a little bit dangerous as it goes. IT on the other side of this one, they have a friend that they're going to go ahead and polish off there, as it looks like Trimble's going to go ahead and take down Prince.
Yeah, Prince still coming into this game using one of my favorite weapons, the P90, man, up close and personal. And my second favorite weapon, the Woodpecker right there, seeing that bad boy coming to play. We were hanging out last week with Poro, and we were like hoping that we'd have a straight-up 4v4 with the Scythe matchup. The Scythe, they do so much damage. Of course, it's a melee weapon. Of course, you know, I get it. But maybe today, you and I, maybe we'll get it going here today with the Scythe.
I saw you guys talking about it. I'm not going to lie. I mean, let's be real. Those are some sexy-looking weapons whenever we look at the melee weapons inside of this. But there's something about the Scythe. And whenever you run with it, and you got, like, almost that, like, I don't know how to describe it other than that anime style where you're just kind of, like, dragging it back behind you. It just looks fierce, dude.
Now we just need to see a nice straight-up 4v4. We did see it come into play a couple times towards the late game last week where instead of going for that reload, players would drop a glue wall and then take out the scythe, try to jump around and get a nice little swipe in and then reload. But we just haven't seen a straight-up 4v4 with it, which I totally understand. It's just me as a commentator just looking from the sidelines, just hoping and praying that we might get it. We might just get it.
How dare us want to see fun, right?
Yeah,
All we're trying to do is just enjoy the game, and that's what we want. We want to see some stylish moves coming in. You saw how it happened a second ago. You saw a little bit of, BM coming out whenever somebody won the early game fight. Should be noted, Circle did go north, guys. Kind of centered around the fields area, so that's where a lot of our teams are moving to right now. The west is a little bit spicy, though. Got a couple of teams there stacked up pretty close.
Three teams.
They're going to have to start the rotation, yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 teams right now, and SKB, they got a little 2-2 split going on actually near Marble Works, but talking about SKB, this is one of their splits over here, popping that glue wall for that protection, trying to get behind the tree, but it's going to be a third-party city out here in a matter of minutes.
And that's the nature of the beast right now. Whenever you start getting these shots early, good connection's going to come out on the side of this one. Maxima's going to take it on one. Prince does manage to right himself, gets a little bit of position over here, but it's going to be a strong push coming out from SKB right now. Just using a lot of the glue walls, just get positioning on this. TM right up against the blue zone right now has to be very, very careful. Retreating back, seeing if maybe they can get the res and time off of this one, but I don't know. Maxima has a good angle for it, and now it is just one left up. Team Money.
Yeah, Team Money trying to get that money here today. Only a solo, kind of going for that last-ditch effort play over here to try to avoid those sight lines and get taken out right here, right now. They definitely don't want to get taken out right here because they would get, what, 1 placement point? I think they had a couple kills, but it's not enough. It's not enough for comfort. But look at over here. Mohouse got a nice little setup over here on the second story. Are they aware WSK, do they know?
They've been so stealthy. I mean, we've seen a couple of throws come out. I think that there's been a couple of shots exchanged. Yeah, here we go. Throwables are laying down on top of them. WSK has to play this one carefully. I was seeing what was going on with that one for just a second. Glue wall's coming out now to get a little bit more vision on what's going to be happening around all on top of this one. Also going to go out and throw out the turners, see if they can get the shields up for now. But this is a lot of defensive tools just trying to be set up right now to get vision and an idea on what's happening. And specifically, stalling out the fight and denying vision on specific angles.
Dude, talk about being confident. The Car 98 for an up-close and personal battle. I mean, you are definitely confident right here. I mean, that thing
confident
slaps.
in your friends to attack the same person you are. Otherwise, that's not going to go well.
Yeah, that thing slaps. But here comes the push. And look at the glue walls to block the stairs. I love this matchup.
This is just such a great heads-up play in the defensive position. They are in firm control over this. I mean, you could see sometimes everybody's trying to make the play around the outside of it. But here we go. A little bit of jump around it. Superman trying to make a play of his own. It's going to be R15. See if they can find the angles of what's happening. Superman's going to go down, but it looks like R15 has to just make a run for it, try to get into a reposition around it. R15 a little bit of trouble around this one. Kathy's going to see if maybe he can get the res on it. On the opposite side of it, it's going to be WSK that, while they had a little bit of trouble trying to navigate what was going on, they've got some strength to them now. And they are just absolutely demolishing what's going on. Kathy has to be very, very careful, looking around, trying to see if they can get the lineman. Good, peeks back over. That Car 98 coming in strong.
Ooh, the quick scope, the one-tap dirt nap, as we were to call it out here. I believe Kathy got 2 knocks with that quick scope Car 98. Looking to seal the deal. I think now's the time to do it as well. Looks like they're trying to get those pickups on those glue walls. Even if they had one grenade matchup, that's all it would take. But let's see, can they get the 1v4?
Step around that corner again. I dare you. Kathy has got this under control, man. WSK, they got some casualties put on the side of R15, but dude, Kathy is making up for it, at least getting one down and fleshed out due to vengeance. Now we're going to see how WSK wants to play this one. This is just a beast of a play to force all 3 members to play off of this one, and Kathy's not even taking that much damage. 2-point push comes around off of it, not too much to work with. There you go. It was just a matter of time before the pincer push comes in and gets down.
I was kind of rooting for Kathy right there. Did the Car 98. So we were questioning it, but at the end of the day, like if we had to look at the damage numbers, I'm sure Kathy did the most on the squad right there. I'm not gonna lie, we saw him get a nice couple knocks in the process, and I guess that strategy relies on their teammates being able to confirm it and pretty much seal the deal. But we saw what happened there. They will have 5 more games though, so hopefully Kathy stay strong with that Car 98 quick scope. We love it.
I mean, if that had found the angles earlier, that would have just absolutely demolished them as they were trying to come in. Good, strong positional plays, as it looks like moat house and the moat itself is going to be a lot of the action in the way we see it breaking down. Still have 9 squads, 29 trying to make their moves at the time, but a couple already pretty centered up. And guess what? It's going to be based off that fight that we saw going on earlier with WSK getting strong benefit inside of the circle due to that fight.
Yeah, and just, bigger picture. Ooh, we have to get back to it because IT looking to flex out over here with SKB, the Skull Breakers, as the zone is going to be closing on in. But bigger picture, I wouldn't be mad if a team went to Moat House up there on that island, just straight up chilled, try to go for some placement points and try to avoid those sight lines. But we'll see. Zone is going to be closing on in, and right now we're going to be looking on that west side here as it slowly closes in.
SKB already has 1 member down, Maxima. Trying to make some positions around, but IT just has a good high ground point and are just raining damage into SKB every single time they go for a move off of it. Sure, not having a ton of cover, but just kind of denying out any form of movement right now is absolutely huge for them, because that means the fact that with a couple of shots that they manage to get off of this, when they can use the high ground, still manage to get a little bit of work out of it, and that's going to make everything that's going on to the west just a little bit more complicated because there's so minimal options, as Ozark is going to be on the other side of it and get another down.
Yeah, these are the 2 teams that I got my eye on here today, because last week they were just popping off, but unlucky, they're going to be clashing here early on in the day. And it looks like Ozark getting the better half right there. They were able to get a nice little grenade on the Jonah, and I see another squad mate all the way in the back lines from WSK knocked down, and well, here comes the push as Ozark trying to close this gap, trying to capitalize on these knocks and pretty much take out Wasaka here, as now it's just a solo.
I mean, Comatron has nowhere to really go. Trying to retreat into this is just going to put him closer to LB that's kind of to the northwest of this position. They've got this little bit of a place that Comatron can kind of hide out with, but Ozark is just coming in like wolves hunting a downed animal, just looking. They smell the blood in the air. They're just trying to figure out the best way to approach it. So now, Comatron, what do you got here? Lined up, being patient, has an idea on how the approach is going to come through, and I kind of like this coming up from Ozarks, realizing, okay, the high ground, it's got a team on it, might be a little bit disadvantaged, and by the way, not even inside the safe zone. So let's not worry about it. That means, in fact, Comatron's going to have to come to us, or another team can just have to contend with it as well.
Yeah, next zone did pop. Nobody's in it, matchup. Nobody. And Ozark trying to take full-blown advantage of that. But over here, SKB, the Skull Breakers, they have been in the thick of it this whole game, practically. Now they're going to be up close and personal with LB, the #1 team in the lobby.
I like the tricksy play, trying to come out there and see if maybe they can hide in just a second, bring out the bush itself. But I don't know, Skullbreakers, this is looking a little bit rough. You can see Double Trouble now starting to line up onto him, gets an idea on what's happening, but this is just such a rough fight. So few options for them to work with, trying to see if they can get something with what's going on. But I mean, Skullbreakers, it's just, they can't manage to get anything. Finally, they do manage to go down, and might be a time for them to reset using the Blue Wall.
Glows 8, respecting. Whoa! Hello? What was that? Oh, wow. Okay, well, that fight's done. Now IT, they're going to be pushing downhill, trying to take this compound for themselves. Oh, a nice little time turner right there to soak up some damage. But Ozark, yeah, backs against the wall. Last-ditch effort, taking out those tights, going for those slashes. This is all-out chaos right now, Matrim.
IT's trying to get this one. They were the ones that were the aggressors inside of the situation, but Ozark's just trying to hold it together. They do manage to take down several of them. And there we go, now getting the moment to survive through it. And guess what? Comatron is still alive.
Still alive. Still alive out there. Swimming as well. Going to be hugging the north end of this zone in the water. Really trying to go for those placement points. Right now, 7th place equals 4 placement points. So that's huge. You know, looking for that consistency here. And
alive too.
They could do it. I think they could do it.
I mean, I like the read on the map, realizing the fact of where they can play from. We've got a couple of strong teams still in play, most notably Ozarks, who's just lighting up the kill feed all around the place. But keep in mind, we still have 3 members up for LB, 3 for OG, but DK also has all 4 members up right now, and they've been a little bit more on the quiet side of all the action as it's been moving forward.
Yeah, it's going to come down to who has the more teammates alive at the end, really. Set them up for that numbers advantage, trying to close it out as we are checking in with the Rock here, Vector in hand. But Milo, you called it. Milo right here on the coastline is just trying to play passive, trying not to get detected, trying to survive right here.
Yeah, I mean, this is a rough spot to be in. Luckily, with everything that's going on, Ozark is under push, and it's going to be LB that managed to spot them out. Ozark's been in a strong position around the circle for quite a while. LB looks like they were trying to get an opportunity to get something with it, but, I mean, while they are getting some damage in, and it's just not enough to really make a dedicated play, LB is still up against the safe zone, and Ozark is doing such a good job on threat analysis right now, realizing when they need to engage in a fight and when to retreat. They know exactly when the fights are in their advantage. And good shot's going to come out, and Flacco is going to go down. This could provide the opportunity for LB. Keep in mind, they are coming in already low numbers with this one, so already having a member down on Ozark's side could give them the opportunity to run it, but have to be careful. They're going to go ahead and throw in down some defenses off it. Time Turner's going to be down, looking to see if they can make the push through. Going to see if they can line up another position, and yep, going to go ahead and flush out one, get another one down. Ozark look like they're in some trouble as LB has got this one in control right now. Can Ozarks right the ship? It's a peak battle between this, and it's just going to be LB coming in with full-on firepower, trying to make sure that they can tear this one down, but it is so back and forth. There we go. LB come up and don't even lose anybody.
Oh, look at this!
What? OG spotted it and once in the party.
Wow. OG, they recognize, hey, they're probably weak. They're probably in the compound healing on up and immediately trying to make that push, capitalizing on the moment. Can they seal the deal? Yes, they can. Wow, this is like the death compound right here. And the whole time, DK, they're on the high ground, just trying to take some pot shots, trying to capitalize on that third party. Now look, DK coming in for the collapse. This is the 4th team to push this same compound.
It's where everything fun is happening right now. Let's see how DK can handle this one. Oh, Grid's already down early inside of this fight. The Glue Wall's already down, trying to buy a little bit more time, but I don't know. Camus has gone down inside of this fight, but the numbers are already so strong in DK's advantage. They should have the time to work around with this. Gomez is taking a lot of damage, though. This isn't working as cleanly as DK wanted it to, and it looks like we're going to have a couple of solos now coming in as Milo.
Look who's alive.
Good old Team Money. He's got a vision on what's going on. Are you going to be able to do something nasty right now? Because you could have the opportunity.
Let's see. 1v3 here. Their position compromised. There goes the glue wall. There goes the second glue wall for that cover. But you have to assume DK, they're going to push uphill with their numbers here and try to get the first booyah of the night matchup.
I mean, it's... Okay, what do you got? Lilio, the numbers are just coming after you. There we go. Booyah. The round is now over. And that is going to go in favor of the strong team pushing there at the end. I mean, dude, what was up with that? Like, we often can see like a domino style effect coming into play. But man, that just kicked off with near on perfect timing with every single one of those teams coming in to be, I guess, king of the house, it felt like.
Yeah, that one was interesting because we had dual kings on that hill for a good amount of time, right? And they kind of just sat up there and they watched three teams, not one, not two, but three different teams rush that same compound. The whole time they were applying some pressure from their angles up there to the north. And, timing was everything for them. But Matcham, I got to give it that solo from Team Money, because Team Money, that was one of the teams that got into a very early fight here in game number one. They lost 3 squad mates. They recognized, hey, I don't want to die right now because I'll get 0 points. Instead, they went into survivor mode. Second place. That is 9 placement points. That right there, for being a solo, that's a dub. That's a win for me.
That is a huge performance coming out from Adilio, and I mean, even then, realizing the fact that had opportunity positioning around the tree, seeing if maybe get something out of it. I mean, it was a hero play, and it's always difficult. Specifically, whenever you're like the last solo up and tree is all the cover you've got, the other team is just going to spread out. You did a good job on it. I got to say, I was very impressed by a lot of the defensive use that we saw coming out from Glue Wall, specifically in that earlier building fight where we saw the stall come out. I don't remember which 2 teams that were pushing on that location, but it was a good lineup off of that one. I remember it was Superman on one side of it, and it was just good showing from so many of these teams on awareness on how to maneuver the map and take difficult fights.
Oh, that was so early, too. And just look at these kills. Very interesting. Skullbreakers, they had a nice 2-2 split towards that mid-game, and I believe that's why they were able to acquire so many kill points, 6 to be exact right here. Not a lot of placement points right there. They only got 8 points in total, but I do love the aggression. Not gonna lie, I love teams that come into these first matches of the evening just full-blown confidence and ready to take any fight that comes their direction here.
I mean, I just want to follow up what you were talking about with Adilio there. Team Money walking away with 10 points based off of the survival he managed to pull inside that round. That's a huge performance for them and getting them a ton of points, which was going to be in a very desperate and almost dire situation. But my eye is drawn back to Bia. Whenever we look at La Bia, they've been just racking up so many points and still capable of picking up 14 points inside this round. These guys are just nomming up so many kills around them and managing to make it in the late stages of the game. They're feeling much more assured to make it into that grand final every single round.
And kind of on that note, I'm really curious. After that game, I wonder if we have like the top 5 killers from that game. Really curious because we saw a couple players just popping off, and shout out to production right there. Yeah, we do have the graphic, and Milio down there at the bottom with 2. Not too bad.
Kamatron, WSK picking up 3 in there. We saw Kamatron making some desperate plays trying to survive. I think a couple of skills came a little bit earlier inside of it. LB, Dominitos, I mean, just overall good performance coming out from them. But OG The Rock, we saw him making a couple of very big plays for his squad as well.
With the Vector. I remember watching The Rock with the Vector here. And yeah, I mean, this is impressive considering, it's only 1 game in the book so far, and you're able to get this many kills in the first match. You have to assume that you're feeling good. Matcham, you are feeling good. You are feeling your gun skills, and that should kind of just carry over into the other 5 maps here of the evening.
I mean, it's a good momentum game, to say the least, for several of these teams. That's kind of what you want in this, to come in, pick up some kills, because every single point you get inside this just makes the group stage that much less stressful, right? Specifically, when we look at these guys are going to be after watching tomorrow, if they can manage to put up a decent amount of points today, they're going to be much more comfortable whenever we look at the overall, well, specifically the group leaderboard that we're looking at today right now. But whenever we look at the overall as well, that means the fact that it's just easier to sit back and watch the games tomorrow and not be stressing like, oh my God, am I going to be automatically qualified for the grand final, or am I going into the last chance qualifier?
By the way, let us know in the chat, like, who should we be looking at here today? Who do you have your eyes on today in the chat? Let us know. Personally, I'm still going to be looking at Ozark. I'm surprised we didn't have any of the Ozark players up there on that top 5 kill leader list, because we did see them multiple fights, and they were, you called it out, Matchum. They were really head on the swivel, I guess you could say, because there was one point before that final compound push that they were flexing out. They got a knock, and then they started getting third party from Dual Kings on the high ground, and they immediately popped those glue walls and pulled back. I think that's what makes good teams great, is that they know when to risk it and when not to risk it, right?
Yeah, and I think that a big part of why we didn't see a Ozark kill leader on that top 5 that we were looking at is the kill distribution and the way we saw it with them. They do have 6 kills off of that round, but it felt like everybody was involved in the fights in some form and fashion, and that's how they managed to stack the kills. I wouldn't be surprised if it's something like 2-2-1-1 as far as their split goes.
So with that in mind, well, we got 5 more games to go. We're talking about a couple teams. They should be warmed up after that nice little match. Other teams, well, they're going to have to try a little better here. We did see Syndicate real early on.
Yeah.
They got taken out, I believe, first. And that was kind of the story of Syndicate last week as well, which is kind of getting me a little concerned. I know we will have that last chance qualifier where 12 teams will be able to compete in that lobby, but you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. You know, it's called the last chance qualifier for a reason.
I mean, specifically, if your name is Stepdad, you do not want to be stuck at any given sections as I was, right? Technically, you want to be like making it to where the other teams are stuck, so that way you can get something out of it, right?
Yeah, we all know Stepdads, they got to pull out that clutch card here. And, well, match 'em. The war, drums, we heard them. We see the yellow. That means match number 2 about to happen, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, the first one was feisty. Let's see how the second one does go. I mean, this is also just, it's such a serene map to its own regards. I just like the chill nature of it, and the way that it's laid out provides a lot of good fighting opportunities.
Yeah, last game we saw a lot of action near Quarry, and I have to say it was because of the plane path. We saw, one team, I believe it was Ozark near Forge, and then Wasaka all the way up there at Fields. Now we get a nice little interesting plane path compared to game number 1. Wasaka going to be the first team to drop out here up there on Moat House.
I mean, this is my first time casting this. I gotta say, some of these names, très magnifique. I love it. Like, Osaka is just fun to say whenever you look at it. I mean, we've got La Bia. I'm gonna mess that one up every single time. La Bahia. See,
I
you
call
think
it LB.
Being from
I
Texas,
call it LB.
You think being from Texas, I would be good at this, but I'm not. How do I fail so bad at it?
Hey, you're trying, and that's what counts, because I just say LB, and you know what I'm talking about. So LB and JP looking to clash here early game number 2. This one should be interesting. Oh, Syndicate once again, matchup. Early game fights.
Oh, do they learn the lesson of it? Irving already down. Irving, wasn't enough time. The rest of the team managed to get something to work with. He's going to go ahead and be flushed out. That's going to be first blood now going over to ONU. I mean, we can see that Syndicate is pretty stacked up together, but I mean, the angles coming out. Prince is just putting in work. Syndicate, it is just all falling apart. You guys can't even land without losing members right now. It's just, everybody seems to be after him.
Those angles were actually insane from ONU that they were holding down. Like Syndicate, they tried to retreat. We saw them on that second story floor, and the crossfire through the windows. There's just nowhere safe. nowhere safe for them to run. Wow. You got to respect the good play, though, when you're looking at the offense play right there. You got to respect
That's
it
just
from,
a math
from
knowledge.
ONU. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have to respect it. That was just a clean early game squad wipe.
Yeah, I mean, just firm awareness saying, no, let's not risk making the push up, because you could see that's what Syndicate was leaning into. They had all their members up there and said, no, we've got a better plan. And God, just the aim and the angle from Prince, just putting in so much work right there. I mean, look at this, already at 1,095 damage. Headshots already sitting at 1, at 2 kills right now. I mean, him and Kelvin just did so much work in that.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I wonder if these are total stats from tonight or just stats from right here, right now. Okay, so it is tonight. That's why we saw an extra one on Prince. But 1K damage on Prince out of, what would you say, match of one game in 3 minutes? Like, you can't even count this as a game yet. So will Prince break 2K in 2 games? Is it 1K a game damage average? Like, maybe, just maybe. That's Prince for you.
That's some nuts damage. Let's be real. I mean, all right, Ozark, Team Money. Team Money, you had some problems happen to you early in the last game. Ozark, looks like they're look at this. This is just a trap, set and waiting. They know exactly on this. They've got a good read on it. They're just waiting for the moment for Team Money to step out into just an absolute bloodbath.
Do they know? That's the question. Do Team Money, do they know? Because Ozark, they're squatted up right here, right behind this boulder. They are ready. Once when Team Money walk out of that doorway, it's done. It's a GG. It's a booyah. Let's see, though. Do they know?
Viola, the way that Viola is positioned, it makes me think that they have knowledge on it, because you can see the TM is waiting for a push to come out. So this is almost like a game of chicken. Who's going to move forward first? Viola, though, with this outside repositioning, could get a very interesting angle onto Ozarks. I'm curious on if they've been able to keep an eye on them and been able to spot it out just yet, or if they are a little bit tunneled in. TM, they're running right into the trap, and that's over. Just 3 instantly down. That was just dirty, man.
So to answer your question, I don't think they knew. I don't think they knew. Why else would they walk into 1 grenade and 3 of them get knocked, Matt?
Oh, no.
They didn't know.
Not like this.
Run him
Don't
over.
do him like this, man. Viola's got
dead.
nowhere to go. Just comes up with style and in the car, too. God, that was beautiful but dirty at the same time.
Danger with a 3-piece right there. The 3-pointer from behind the boulder. I saw Danger with that grenade in their hand for a solid minute. You already knew. I could tell by looking in his eyeballs that he wanted to get a nice play right there. And, well, getting 3 knocks, 1 grenade, that's huge. Ozark right there, well-deserved, well-thought-out play, and it paid off big time. Wow.
You love to see the consistency coming out of the teams, too, like specifically in performance and behaviors. I mean, we were talking about Prince a second ago, but Ozark getting a lot of kills inside the last game, already coming up. Just a good set of awareness coming out from the players, and I'm actually very kind of curious on how we see ONU making their approach in. They're very far to the south with everything that's going on, and kind of wrapping around. I think that they're going for a little bit of a vision play to see if maybe they can get an idea on what's happening. There's nobody really around them, though. All the other stuff is kind of going on a little bit closer towards center, as that was where a ton of our teams have already made their move to.
Yeah, a couple teams right here in game number 2 are going to be attempting to center up here. DK trying to take this compound right across the way, though. It is going to be contested by IT. They are grouped up. You need to be cautious. 1 grenade could deal them in, like we saw from Team Money just a couple moments ago. But it looks like DK looking to get aggressive here, Matchroom.
Still feeling the momentum of that last game, seeing if they can find the angles for it. I mean, they've got a lot of control, and what's happening right now, full-on reposition coming up from IT side of it. You can see it's always time turners already going down in this one. A little bit of a mix-up happening on it. It's going to be IT that does get the initial damage and everything that's going to be going off. They have to be very, very careful off of it. They're having to retreat away, trying to make sure that they get down the glue walls to just kind of reposition, but there's nowhere to go. Our last squad winners are now going to be down quite early.
Wow, I really thought those time turners would turn the tides right there for that push because they were using them really well. They do block 600 damage each, but IT no breaks, and let's see if they can survive this. They're trying to get the top ups, the heal ups, but looks like the duo from JP, they're looking to get some points on the board here, and they're not scared even if they do have the numbers disadvantage.
Like the flanked reposition coming out here. Good awareness, realize the fact that they have opportunities situated right now. Just kind of creeping through this, seeing if maybe they can spot somebody that's out of position or has a bad angle to work with, using the fence itself to try to deny as much vision as possible. And I like this. They committed a little bit of the glue walls earlier. Just take a second, get a breather, figure out what's going on. And now using the terrain to slowly just kind of strangle this position is JP thought that they had an opportunity, but this actually might end up being their death.
Yeah, you can only imagine the team comms right here from JP 100% regretting their decisions of trying to take this fight against a 4-person squad, right? Like, quick math, you know you're at the disadvantage. And, well, Freestyle trying to evacuate the area, trying to not be seen here. And it looks like they just might be able to avoid getting taken out here.
LB's moving in pretty centralized, as well as R15. IT, they've got the control. Well, Freestyle is just trying to get out of here. Spotted out just a little bit. I think IT just hunting this one down, but I don't know if IT is going to leave this position. This is such a strong point, and they already know that they forced Freestyle into a much more precarious position. So I don't think that we're going to see them venture much further. They're just going to call this one done and a victory on their side by making the other team leave and just now go back to the position that they were fighting for earlier and just lounge in the strength of it.
Yeah, at one point you just have to really start to consider, hey, it's only 1 kill point. Is it worth risking our position that is pretty center to the map? And we see LB just north of them and R15 to the east. So there's a couple teams with the same idea. And you have to assume if IT did decide to chase down Freestyle, yeah, they would have gotten that point most likely, but then they would have had to have gone back to the center, and that would have set them up to be gatekept in return.
Placement points greater than 1 kill.
Yeah, I like how they're not too thirsty out here. And look at that. Next zone does favor them, so at the end of the day, Freestyle might actually rotate past them once again, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, we're starting to see like a little bit of a brewing situation. Nothing big popping off just quite yet. I mean, just this territory has the capability to facilitate a lot of teams being here. So really, it's just a couple of our outlier teams, most notably Skullbreakers are going to be to the west. ONU doing a reposition to the north. We do have Osaka that's going to be coming in, and OG down to the southeast. But almost everybody else centralized and already inside the safe zone. Oh, don't forget about Freestyle too. But Lord only knows what Freestyle is going to do.
If I was Freestyle and I was playing a little bit earlier on, get in a vehicle. Honestly, vehicles are so strong. I'm surprised we don't see a vehicle meta where players just rolling around in cars trying to run over people, because that's one of the my joys in Free Fire, is just getting those runovers, those splats, and watching that enemy just fly 100 feet.
Good, man.
Yeah, it feels good.
Feels good.
I feel like I'm in a tank out here. So maybe as the pro scene develops, we'll start to see these different metas come into play. And, you know, we are very early on in the scene matchup, so we're just watching the scene develop before us, and we're kind of watching the pioneers here of the Pro League, and it just feels good to be part of.
Yeah, I know. You love to see like an esport starting to blossom like this. Teams starting to find their footing, the meta developing, specific play styles. I mean, there's a lot of, whenever we talk about Free Fire, there's a lot of it that's just going to be about style itself. I mean, just the capabilities of the style you could bring to your character. But now the play styles are also starting to evolve. The team styles, the way we see fights being taken, and just the awareness and the constant, I guess, development of new high-level play coming in is just so fun to watch.
Yeah, and it's always interesting to kind of see the different passives and abilities, too, that these squads run, and try to really develop that synergy based on their characters. So there's a lot going on here, not going to lie. But I think that's what makes it real interesting to kind of put a bow on that topic of us just watching the meta develop here.
Yeah, see, I'm gonna let you lean into how all the passives work together. I just like the firefights, man. I can't help it.
Pow pow.
I'm gonna get excited whenever people pull the trigger. Like, it's just that's the fun part about it that I love, and I am already very aware that I'm not gonna be an analyst, but boy, I'm gonna be all about every single one of these fights.
So we do have a slight little, calm moment, I guess you could say, before the storm. We had a couple teams fight very early on, as now teams just looking to find a decent spot in this new circle. Ozark, dead center, of course. Just dead center as it could be. We got OG playing the edge right here, and another team playing the edge. ONU, another squad just down here towards the south. And ooh, look who's there, matchup. That's gonna be freestyle, trying not to be detected.
Oh, how much stealth you got going on right now? It looks like we're seeing ONU just making sure that they can pick up whatever resources they can find on their approach into this. The circle is going to pop and make its way a little bit off center to the southeast of that one, so it's going to be Wasaka feeling pretty good about it, as well as R15. Ozark still in a pretty strong spot as well, but that puts them in a little bit of a death funnel position. We can see IT making the push into right around where they're going to be stopping at, maybe opting into playing edge, but we're all going to see Skullbreakers to the west, and it's going to be LB to the north. So we might not get a fight still, just due to the nature of how many buildings and cover pieces are still in play. But everybody is getting so close. Once one fight breaks out, again, it's just going to be a third party, a fourth party, and it's just going to be a quick follow-up as everybody tries to exploit an opportunity.
Yeah, look at this zone. One thing I want to note is right when the circle popped the new zone, Ozark immediately moved. They were prepared and they were ready to take a center position once again, because if they would not have moved, LB would have kind of collapsed right in on top of them. And I believe Ozark might have recognized LB making that push from the north, and well, now is when the mayhem starts to erupt.
That bounce on that nade was just nasty, man. R15 getting control over the area, but have to be pretty careful as they're got a little bit of heat going on around him right now, and a lot of different people trying to make their approaches. You can see off of one angle of it. WSK, a little bit of trouble. Superman living up to his name up in the high ground, making sure to do some reconnaissance and feed that information back over. While this is going on, though, it should be noted that OG is hearing what's going on, making a reposition to the east of this. You can see on the minimap there are a ton of teams already stacked very strongly in the west, because that's where all of the buildings are going to be at. OG is making use of the fields to the east of this and are trying to get into flanked or using the hills itself. And if the circle goes in their favor, everybody that's inside these buildings are going to be in a ton of trouble.
And R15, they got a couple woodpeckers too, really high damage AR that we're going to see them use. And I just want to note, while they were taking shots, Ozark, they pushed into LB and got clapped, Matchroom. They got wiped out, eliminated in a blink of an eye. So they're definitely going to be second-guessing, pushing LB, moving ahead in the future, because they just were not able to attack them, because LB had such a strong defense in their compound. And I'll bring that up because LB, pretty much the only team in the new circle.
We've got a couple of fast movers. It's going to be WSK instantly making the shift into another centralized position, and LB did not have the firing lines to work with. To the south, it's going to be ONU that we're looking at right now that's going to need to make a move of their own. They're going to have IT that's kind of close to them, so they're going to have to keep an eye on what's going on with that one. IT seems like they have the vision as an idea. Prince in a lot of trouble. He goes down early. That's going to be a quick follow-up onto it. You can see Glue Walls coming down, realizing, man, ONU realizing that that's a problem, has to retreat, and it comes at the cost of Prince, who has been such a star performer.
Yeah, and right after they lost Prince, we saw immediately ONU, they used that ridge line along that road to avoid those sight lines. So only if they were able to recognize that moments ago, Prince would have still been alive. But hey, that is then, and this is now, as SKB, they got a couple glue walls, but they are getting sprayed upon from multiple teams right now.
Well, they call themselves the Skull Breakers. They got to be careful that their skull don't get broke right now, because, man, there is near on nowhere to go. LB just has a firing line against them. Oh, the zone is collapsing. There's limited options. SKB, I mean, just try to go for a peek to see if they find an opportunity, but unexpected help is now starting to come in, but it's going to be too late. There you go. This was coming down onto it. While this is going to be happening, you're going to see IT make a quick rush into R15's positioning. Just running up the steps. Again, with glue walls coming down and using the opportunity the moment one of these glue walls goes down to try to get a knock on the opposing team. That's awesome timing and a good heads-up awareness on how to try to get something with it. Now, the question comes into play as it's getting stalled out, as the amount of glue walls are going down. It's buying both teams more time, but the down team and the weakened team is going to be the beneficiary of this without a doubt.
Oh my goodness, there are so many teams right now, and I'm counting like 8 to 9 glue walls being used right here. And R15, okay. Kathy pulling out that Uzi to get that spray down up close and personal, and it's just all out chaos. Can Kathy get the final blow with the Uzi? Yes! Yes! R15, Kathy. Talk about clutching it out. There it is.
Man, I mean, that's another big moment coming up from Kathy right now. LB, though, just
Huge.
reaping on everything that's going on. They do have OG that was trying to make a very northern rotation around them, but LB just doing a good job on just trying to control this positional. Now, looking a little bit further into the horizon, realize the fact that they do have OG as well as Wasaka that's going to be near them. You're going to start making a little bit more of a maneuverability around this one, but this hillside is going to cause its own problem as there's getting a lot of attention thrown their way. Okay, WSK is slowly moving in as well, but LB, they've got to be careful. They are about to find themselves flanked. And I think that it's starting to get into a little bit more of a calm position. The only thing that's still going on is going to be Kathy down to the south. It's just pretty much a due lineup between these two squads. It's going to be Dubsaka trying to make their way around it, and they are going to find a couple of vision points to play with everything that's going on, as it is now moving into a very close range fight between all the teams that are breaking out inside this. There is still Kathy down to the south that is keeping an eye on everything, seeing maybe they can find a moment to get anything out of it. There you go. Now just down to 2. What can Kathy do? Any type of angle to work with. Still 3 members up for Wasaka. Actually, no, sorry. 2 members up for R15. I just saw Kathy's the only one. Oh, that's bloody right there. And that's just
Booyah!
Well played coming out from that one. I mean, just so much awareness in such a chaotic situation.
Definitely the playmaker there from Wasaka. Grow Zero. Grow Zero had the grenade launcher right there going ba 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 ba, launching them bad boys across the way, getting so much damage. And when they had to go for the reload on that bad boy, they had actual grenades as well to lop over there across the way. So huge damage coming out from that one individual player right there from Wasaka Esports, and I truly believe was the playmaker in that late game to really help him get that booyah here matchup. But Kathy, dude, Kathy, the Uzi, too strong right now. I counted like 9 glue walls in that fight. So much utility being used there.
I mean, that's kind of the meta, right? Whenever things start going bad, drop as many glue walls as possible, give yourself a second to like restabilize, and then maybe deny some repositions coming out from it. But good Lord, Wasaka, strong play coming out, but I'll be again with secondary highest amount of points inside that one. I mean, this is starting to be a very repetitive top 5 finishers.
Yeah, and I kind of contribute their high kills this game because I saw multiple times here they had a solid compound, and that compound was a main focal point for a lot of teams to kind of push through, or I'm going to say attempt to push through, because every time they pushed, well, they were taken out, matchup, and that's why 10 kills on the board. Talk about consistency. They are definitely making up in the kill points where they might be lacking in those placement points.
I mean, that's kind of what you like to see, though, is realizing there's such an amount of decision making that goes on whenever you look at the placement points versus kill points debate, right? Is at what point do you go, all right, well, we know that we're probably going to lose, so let's just take fights. Or if you're a team like LB, you just go, well, there's other people fighting, or we can just be the catalyst of the fights because we know we're going to get so many kills repetitively. Osaka, on the other hand, they seem to have a slower approach, but still just as a violent approach, if that makes any sense. They're still walking away with a ton of kills, but it's like a slower roll into the fights instead of just an immediate abrasive push into them.
Back-to-back games, too, if I'm not mistaken. Dom up there on the top, number one. Number one. And, well, I like to see Grow Zero. We were kind of talking about that late-game clutch player from Wasaka getting so many grenades tossed out there and getting a lot of damage on the board. Was actually able to get 5 kills, too. So that's a huge come-up right there.
Well, okay, Kyrox and Domidios. Sorry about that. Between them, 9 kills. That's a statement of performance coming out from them specifically, and it seems to be a big signifying factor, specifically in LB's successes in their firefights and why they feel so comfortable just in every single one of the situations they find themselves in. We've just got two people with some hot hands and putting a ton of work.
The question is, though, when Dominios doesn't pop off, how does the team perform? Matchroom. That is my question. Right now, yeah, we're seeing a clutch player really pop off, perform here. But what happens when they don't? What happens when they're a little cold here? Do we still see the team at the top, when we talk about these kill points?
Kyrock's putting in some work of their own. So I that's one of the things I do like. And that's what I know with LB and the level of firefight dominance that we are seeing come from them. That is a very important question to keep an eye at, because you want to make sure that the entire team has different positions and capabilities in which they're thriving in. It could just be that the entire team is focused around just trying to make sure that Midos is finding those capabilities.
Yeah.
But then that's what, again, it comes down to play style and selection on it. I do agree that what happens whenever he goes down, are we going to see somebody else thrive in that position? Is it a live and die by the sword style situation? But with LB, I don't feel like it is. I feel like the entirety of that team can just put up some work whenever they need to.
Ooh, look at this. Okay, looking at the group stage here, the points 32 and then 30. Very close race for the top right here. And LB, they don't even have a booyah. They don't even have a booyah, and they're at the top. So a booyah gets you 12 points. So right now, kind of like what we are talking about, yeah, we only got 2 games match them so far, but the kills are just insane here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, a recipe for success for several of these teams, as you can see whenever we're looking at LB with Saka. I mean, almost even with ONU, it's almost half of their points. And in some other teams' regards, like IT Official, Ozark, it's over half of their points and the key to their successes. And I mean, that's why we're seeing such an early, violent mid-game coming into play, is just so many of these teams just feel like they have so much control in their firefights.
Where are them launch pads at, though, man? That's what I'm looking for next game. Last week, oh my goodness, Matchum, we saw those launch pads being used here, and it gets you from point A to point B, really far away for some interesting plays. But Matchum, the drums, the war drums. You know what time it is? Game number 3 about to get started. The players are ready, Matchum.
Dude, I love this yellow lighting too. Whenever I look at it in my reflection here, it makes it look like I have a tan instead of just being absolutely pale and hiding out from the sun.
You're looking good, man.
You're
looking good, Matchum.
It's time to go. It's time to go. We've got our third game. Let's go ahead and jump right into the plane path, already up and in the air. We are now also making a map switch.
So, Syndicate, 3 games in a row. Yes or no, Matchum? Yes or no?
I mean, come on. Syndicate,
yes or no?
You got to not drop near somebody this time. Get your feet underneath of you. I mean, it feels like that's what they're trying to do at damage control play. Maybe going for drops and seeing if they can get early kills and try to use that as a way to mitigate the fact that they haven't been getting a whole bunch of points. But that's a scary way to play. And yeah, Syndicate, good call. Go to Mill. Just get away. Breathe for a minute. Enjoy playing the game.
Yeah. Enjoy getting some game time in. I couldn't agree anymore. And they're going to go to Mill up there by themselves. I'm actually, a little drip of sweat was dropping from my forehead right there for Syndicate. It's getting a little nervous. And I think it's just a matter of early, straight at the drop fights. The RNG, the loot. You might not have the loot that you want, right? So we just haven't been able to see Syndicate looted out, geared up, and prepared for a fight right out the rip. So now, this game around, okay, they have some time to get some loot, get the gear, get some meds, get some glue walls going. And I hope this is their game, Matchum, to kind of bounce back and get some points. But talk about bouncing back. Look at that. Prince. Oh, with the shoddy. Got him, son. Got him.
See, it looked like LB was very aware of this and we're just trying to do a wrapped around position, but I guess they just didn't get into position in time. As JB, aware of the threat, make sure to take care of it. And now JP, LB is very separated out and they have to be, I would say, careful on this now, as they are outnumbered. And if one of their members goes down, that could spell catastrophe. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing a little bit more of a slower roll and everything that's going to be going on with LB.
Well, LB, they definitely have some points to work with as well. This is one team that can afford to get taken out early game. Is that going to happen, though, with these shots? Yeah, is that going to happen, though, with these shots? Not looking like it. Oh, look at the split from LB, too. Look at the split. They have JP backed in a corner, in my opinion. Like, I mean, they have them.
They have all the angles, but it was like I was talking about. If they have a member go down, I am scared. But with aim like that, I think that JP is just afraid to move.
Oh, glows with the M60 as well. Oh my goodness. Okay, JP, I hope you're prepared for this, what's about to happen. I really do.
See how this one's going to play. We are seeing them starting to constrain in. Prince did get some separation in and out. Looks like Rev Crush did get him a little bit distance here. But Glows is just coming back in. Cracks got the angle to work with, and you were curious about how it would play out. You're starting to see the position come out. Cryos managed to get some work into it. Now just going to go back down, look at a Prince, but Prince manages to right the ship at a pivotal moment. Glows might have the angle, doesn't manage to get there in time to save his teammate, though. Freestyle already down back behind this. Domito's already coming in. They've got the angle to play from, and there you go. Pop, pop, and that's going to be LB taking down JP.
Yeah, Crick's right there, popping the time turner, but then going out of the shield. Very interesting maneuver right there. I don't know what that was about, and they paid their life for that. But matchup, the fight that we were looking for, Syndicate. Well, they had time to get some loot. They had time to get some gear, but IT are hunting them down right here. That's a fact.
It feels like maybe Syndicate might have pissed off somebody. I don't know for certain, but it's got that feel to it right now, doesn't it?
For sure. For sure. Oh, but look at Cam. Kind of in between two players from IT. Might kind of play spoiler to what looks like a flank from San.
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of back behind this positional where we can see that Sanji's going to be at. But I don't know. Like, he's got an angle to work, but that's just an interesting situation going on with Camus. I think he's just kind of chilling and letting it all ride right now. IT does have the gatekeeping position on him as well as Syndicate right now. With the way that the circle's gone, it's just a very centralized circle. So it's really just the outer smidges of the island itself that are not inside the zone. But unfortunately for Syndicate, that's where they are.
Yeah, unfortunately. And Sanji needs to hit some big shots with that Woodpecker, that high damage AR. And well, they're going to be on that flank. And I know we were kind of discounting Cam up there from DK, from Dual Kings, but look where they're moving, Matcham. Hopefully Sanji, hopefully they got their head on a swivel. You never know.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem with it. You got to be very careful not to tunnel too hard. And instead, Camus looking like trying to give distance to IT right now. And oh, good angle putting in this. Just right here next to the rock. That's going to force the time turn to come out. And here comes a push. IT coming in. They got the sights out, just trying to hunt it down. Makes a switch over to gun. Stepdad already down. Syndicate just cannot find a way to stay alive right now, as everybody just feels like they're after him on some different angle. But they are starting to find at least a couple of knocks to work with. Now it is just Sanji, who's the guy at range. He couldn't come into this, so Syndicate manages to hold him. But by God, it looked like it was going to fall apart from there for a second.
And this is good, though. Like, Syndicate, this equal good. Equal good. This has to, build some confidence, right? You kind of mentioned Sanji all the way on that off angle to the north, not on the same page, right, as their teammates as they made that collapse. So that might have been that deciding factor on why IT didn't come out on top. But Syndicate,
I feel like he was supposed to be the guy that was supposed to be, like, he's the one that started off with the knock, and I feel like he was supposed to be the guy that had the angle to protect them. But then the fight happened inside, and it negated his angle. And there's no way he could have gotten there that fast. I mean, that was too much distance versus the rest of the team being there. So I don't know. I guess they just felt like they had a 3v3 fight, and it just didn't go that way.
But on a positive note, Syndicate, they needed that one bad, Matchup. They needed that one bad, not only for the leaderboards, but for confidence. So we'll see what they can do with that newfound confidence. But TM, there's a bush. Where'd they go? I don't see him anymore, Matcham. ONU, they're not going to see him. It's just a bush behind that glue wall. Nothing suspicious here. Don't look.
Yeah, no, it's perfectly fine. Time turning down doesn't mean anything at all. Glue walls, yep, see? Kelvin just walking through, and all he sees is a bush. No dead bodies, no nothing else. It's fine.
The bush. Last week we had a clutch bush. I think there was a Bush that got like 2 or 3 kills and almost won the game as a Bush. So never discount the Bush armor right there, but just not paying off in this situation. Well, checking in with the Skullbreakers, we saw them game 1 get a ton of kills. They held a nice 2-2 split. They're real confident in their play style. Right here, they're going to be just north of Wasaka. Another team that has been on the rise here on the overall leaderboards tonight.
Yeah, I mean, this is the potential of a very strong definitive position between these two teams. Now, the question comes in, is anybody going to come in and be the catalyst for both of these teams to force a fight? As it doesn't feel like either one are really vying for a position against each other at the time. Osaka seems to be aware specifically of where Skullbreakers are, but not wanting. I mean, you can tell by Cometron's little dance behind the tree. They know, but they're not wanting to make a push down this position yet. And I think that's a smart play. That's pretty open, all considered.
Cometron's just showing off at this point. Like, relax, man. We get it. You got good skills. You got the agility. All right. You got the skills. All right. So we'll see. We'll see. As it is a little quiet, you know. Besides Wasaka and SKB kind of locked in right now, we might have DK that we're looking in right now with clash with Ozark. I don't know if these two teams are aware, but we can see right there on that mini map in the top left-hand corner, both these teams are running right towards each other.
I think that DK's got the good positional back behind this one and just kind of creeping in, slow rolling it, seeing if they can find the opportunity. But I don't know. It almost has a little bit of hesitation feel to it as well. Ozark just kind of bullying their way into factory, very little fear coming out from them. Whereas DK, I don't know. It feels like they had a couple of opportune shot moments, but just don't want to go for it. Ozark seemed to be aware that somebody was tailing him back behind them. And that's just going to be the nature of that fight ending right there. Unless DK manages to like bait it out, sneak away, and then maybe find a new angle to approach from, you can see that they are shifting much further to the south. And it should be noted, they do have a teammate that's very far to the east. So that might have been why DK didn't want to make a dedicated push there.
Yeah, wow. Pulling off big time right there. And I think you're right. They're trying to group up with their squad mate Cam, who has just been on the miracle run this game, this solo run. And about time. About to group up with your teammates here. And, well, they know there's going to be a squad in factory, so they might just avoid it. But ONU also going to be rotating from Clock Tower down south. So Ozark might actually kind of get stuck in a sandwich here, possibly, which would be interesting. But besides that matchup, anything really sticking out to you here this match?
No, I mean, we're in
It
feels like it's a very heavy early fight, and then it's a more calm kind of mid-game is the meta that we're looking at with these teams. You know, scrap early, get your early kills, make sure that nobody's around you, and then makes your rotation into the circle a little bit cleaner. And since you took that early fight, you don't have neighbors. So now it's more about information gathering, making sure that nobody gets too close to you, seeing where the next circle goes, and then push it again after that.
The Big Chill Hour right here. The Big Chill Podcast Hour with Matrum and Mustache Dave out here. And, well, a lot of teams kind of just yo-yoing back and forth. So with Saka, they were in a position. They moved out to center up, and Ozark took up that same spot right behind them. So a lot of teams just kind of going back and forth, trying to find a position to call home. And not only that, but a position that will set them up for future moves. Easy access to a next circle shift. And kind of popping back over here to DK. They were next to Ozark earlier on. Well, now they're going to be next to ONU. And ONU going to be taking some shots, recognizing the push uphill, wide open. They lost one right there.
I mean, just the angles that these guys can put in work with. They just have so much awareness of what's happening around them, and they're just fun to watch. We've been talking about Prince, but this squad, whenever it comes into fights, they all have so much capabilities. Well, it does look like they managed to like, I don't know, annoy somebody else around, but with this, Milo is kind of the guy at the tail end of it, and the rest of the team's already up into higher ground positions. That might be a hazardous fight if anybody wants to try to go specifically after Milo and slow him down. And I don't think that DK wants to do that, because I think that they're already got enough information realizing he's already kind of made their way up.
ONU right now, this game, like the vibe I'm getting from them, they're just hunting down teams. Like they're just hunting, right? They're looking around, they're trying to spot a player who might be off guard, and get the knock and get the quick confirm, and just continue on their merry way. So we'll see what they can continue to do. They did lose nobody in the process. That was DK that lost somebody, and now DK. Wow. Next zone. So DK, with that in mind, with only 3 up, ONU, they might gatekeep them big time here.
Yeah, I mean, okay. So with the way that the circles popped, Wasaka very comfortable inside the safe zone, right? Perfectly content. The rest of this is brewing awkwardly because
Very
we've
awkward.
got this Syndicate Skullbreaker situation that's going. Ozark kind of close to it. Doesn't look like they're wanting to really push too much to the north. I mean, circle west of them anyway, so no surprise there. DK is kind of dancing around to the south of everything that's going to go on. OG's just east of them. Anu is the kind of the team that's got the easiest approach into this, is they can just kind of meander their way into the circle itself from the south, and LB is playing much further to the west of it. So really, it's just about this eastern fight that's brewing and how it's going to be positioned. As Ozark seems like they keep spotting on what's going on behind them and keeps trying to reposition and maybe take a fight or maybe gatekeep it. And the target that they've got their eyes on, I believe, is DK at the time. That's going to be roughly happening at the same time that OG is going to be coming up in this position as well. And it's just going to be a disaster for everyone involved, as it's going to be 2 fights that are going to quickly turn into one giant fight.
Yeah, look at the spread. We got 4 teams just on top of each other right here. Gomez with the katanas here, trying to evacuate the area with their squad mate Marcos. They don't want to get taken out right here, right now. Very smart move, as Ozark going to be taking the shots at OG, who are now going to be taking a little bit of damage out there in the zone.
I mean, there's so minimal options on how to deal with what's going on. All right, taking the toss up. Is it going to connect? Enough to make him scared. It's a blood clinch moment, to say the least. It looks like that OG is actually just having to run further away from the safe zone just to try to get away from this. Ozark doesn't want to overstay their situation either, so they're starting to make a push of their own. While this was going on, the firefight that broke out between them forced 2 other teams further to the north, and most notably, that's going to be Skullbreakers, who does have a lineup into Syndicate. While it's not an early game fight, Syndicate, you're in some trouble right now, and I don't know where they can even try to find a way to make any of this work.
Yeah.
They're already gate kept out, and guess what? With OG's reposition away from Ozark, they're going to be coming up back behind Syndicate potentially.
Yeah, just a classic gatekeep. And Syndicate, they were behind that concrete pillar that we saw a couple moments ago. Just nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. And, well, they did survive longer than their first 2 games here, so there's a plus side to that. 7th place would net them 4 placement points, but they're not done yet. They're not done yet. DC, baby! Let's go! DC showing up.
I mean, that was almost as good as dead, but a very aggressive attempt at a res comes up, and that's going to bite them very, very badly. DC actually managed to get in safe zone. Oh, but on you managed to find Ozark. This was not the fight that I was expecting to break out, as it's just going to be a quick reposition between them, as it's going to be a quick shift down and multiple points off this. Milo is just trying to hold the lineup over here, as it's going to be a ton of Ozark's members right up in front of him. And Anu just doesn't have too many options on how they're going to deal with this, as it's just been a quick collapse. Ozark just came in with a hit and run, man. They just pulled up into this and are now just trying to stay ahead of the zone and just force Anu to just hide in the zone, and there's so few options.
Yeah, very few options, and it really comes down to hitting your time turners to soak up some damage and hitting them glue walls to provide a pathway into the zone. But I saw in the kill feed DC. Is DC still defending their honor from Syndicate out there on the east side? I think so, but right now we're looking at danger from Ozark using these glue walls, trying to just survive.
Ooh, this is a rough circle. Oh, does he still have the angle to work?
Still alive.
Oh, there's so many weakened teams, and this next circle has so little cover. This is the opportunity, and Gilles finds the angle to work with on top of it, and getting a little bit more territory that they can now control with it, but they know that they need to make their way into the zone here quickly. Most of the teams are already starting to vie for those points, but there's so little cover to be had. I like the fact that Ozark is instead wrapping around, making sure that nobody can compress in besides them. R15's last member up to the north of this, also getting vision on what's going on with LB at the time. LB making their play in right back behind Wasaka, and everybody is coming into the circle weak. Kathy has an angle to work with, but not quite enough time to get the shots in just right yet. Lowe's is trying to make the push in. Does manage to get into position. Now, Wasaka, LB right up on top of each other. Still not inside the safe zone. Minimal options to work with. Minos, what can you do from here? You've got Glows now with you, as it's just going to be very, very cautious a fight. Ozark's trying to make the play into it, but it's going to be R15's, 2 members of the North. They're going to stall it out. So now it's a multiple point fight inside of this, as it's going to be LB, and so much hinging on what's going on between them and Osaka, and is so few options to work with at the time. Cometron's just trying to stay alive, but it's just going to be angles upon angles, as the Ozark just cannot find anywhere to go that is close to safe.
Got him. And then, of course, Kathy from downtown with the snipes right there, taking down Glows. Can we finish? Can we seal the deal? R15. Oh, you saw that. The rose at the end. The booyah rose. R15 coming out on top right there, but you got to give it to LB. Like every single game matchup, they had a duo, and somehow, some way, they're just able to clutch it out in these very tight situations.
I mean, that was a very awkward firefight, but good awareness from teams to realize, okay, there's no cover. It's just time to brawl. We just got to make sure that we go for the kills, because if we try to go for the circle, we're as good as dead. I mean, sure, blue walls, shields, all that other stuff, great. But they're not going to give you the time that you really needed in this situation. So instead, just play along the edge, flank around, and then just take the firefights that are next to you. Now, one firefight ended faster than another one, and R15 used that capabilities to just go ahead, find an angle on the other firefight that hadn't finished, mopped up beautiful.
Yeah, and it's kind of like the theme of tonight. I believe the first 3 booyahs, every single team that got the booyah, they were the team that decided to play a little slower late game and stayed on the outside of the fight, right? They just tried to third party whatever teams were fighting for that compound, and then eventually those teams had to push out of the compound, and the team on the outside coming out on top once again. So playing that slow, steady game on the edge has been paying off big time. When we look at booyahs here tonight, Matrim.
I mean, booyahs are important, but LB just makes it feel like it's not necessary. Just make it to the end. Get a ton of kills. They're like, yeah, you guys fight for the booyah. We'll just fight everything else.
Oh, man, LB, they have been getting so many kill points, and I have to agree, they don't care about the booyah. But remember, Matrim, there's going to be some money for booyahs too, so you got to keep it in mind. You know, you got to get the booyahs here and there.
Grand final is important too. Let's be real. Getting the points is pretty tasty. I do want to say that Syndicate did have a strong performance inside of that, walking away with, I believe, 6 kills and a total of 11 points, which should feel way better than what was going on in the first 2 rounds.
Matrim, look who's number 1 again. Is this 3 games in a row? Is this 3 games in a row? It is.
I mean, DC's coming up, trying to approach though. But yeah,
it is.
Dominitos, man, he's just so good.
Can you give other people a chance, maybe, to get some points? That would be nice.
I want to see.
Okay. If they get it here every single game, Matrim, like what? Congrats, I guess. Like, good job, man. Like. Come on. Dominance is what it is. You get to walk around with just the absolute swagger whenever you're doing anything else from that point forward. Wow. No breaks out here. And shout out, you talked about it, DC last game. So Syndicate surviving a little longer. They were able to get some loot early game. They weren't contested early game. And we see when they do have the appropriate loot, they could make some moves. They could make some plays, because this was their best game yet here tonight. I mean, I'm still just calling up Dominitos double the kills of the next person to him just on the day. And I believe that whenever we saw it a second ago with his 15 kills, that is a huge component of LB's kills for the day so far. I mean, even if you look across it, that's more than the total that Wasaka has so far today. Altogether. That's nuts, man. But Matchum, listen, hear me out. It's halftime, baby. We still got 3 more games to go. Wasaka, I'm looking at you to come out on top. Syndicate, go in the locker room, give the pep talk, get hype, get ready, because we got 3 more games to go, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with some more Booyah Free Fire action.
Responsibility is on my shoulders. Leon, a college student and star basketball player. Passive skill, buzzer beater. Leon is able to recover HP after engagement in combat. When used in the right situation, buzzer beater can bring game-changing results. Leon's impressive recovery ability allows him to recover quickly after minor injuries, keeping him in his best condition. This reduces Leon's reliance on medkits. In a tense battle, buzzer beater can give you a break to face the next challenge. Use it well, and you can turn around any losing situations.
Hi survivors, welcome to the Free Fire Pro Series for North America. Participants will get the chance to showcase their skills and compete for their share of the $50,000 prize pool. This inaugural season will take place across 3 months in 4 unique phases: the Open Qualifier, the Group Stage, the Last Chance Qualifier, and the Finals. Teams will accumulate points throughout each of these stages, resetting for everyone at the start of each new phase. We will kick things off in the Open Qualifier. Teams from across the entire North American region will be split into lobbies of 12 teams, where survivors will battle it out for 6 games to earn their place in the next round. Teams will be awarded points for their in-game performance, including points for their final placement in the lobby, as well as their kills throughout the games. At the end of these games, the top teams from each lobby will move on to the round of 96. This round will feature new lobbies and 6 more games for each team. The teams that finished in the top 6 of their lobby will move on to a final qualifier round of 48, after which only 24 teams will be left standing to move on to the group stage. The group stage will be comprised of a 3-week season, with 2 game days each weekend. The teams promoted from the Open Qualifier will be placed into 4 groups of 6 teams each. Throughout the season, these groups will be paired on game days in a round-robin format, so that each group will face off against every other group in a 12-team lobby at least once. At the conclusion of the group stage, the top 8 teams from this stage will qualify directly to the finals. The bottom 4 teams in the overall standings will be dropped from the tournament, and the remaining teams will move on to the Last Chance Qualifier. The Last Chance Qualifier will see the teams placed 9th through 20th from the group stage compete in their final opportunity to qualify for the finals. Their bouts will take place over the course of 2 game days, with 6 games per day, all in a final bid to earn their shot at the championship. After this intense LCQ stage, only the teams in the top 4 will be able to move on to the finals. To cap things off, our grand finals will take place over the span of 3 days, with the top 12 teams from the tournament playing 6 games every day for a grand total of 18. Here, teams must go all out to earn points and stake their claim as the inaugural Free Fire Pro Series champions. At the end of the 3 game days, the 12th finalist will receive their share of the $50,000 prize pool, and a North American champion will be crowned.
Welcome back, Free Fire friends, and we are halfway through the action. We've had some amazing games so far today, Dave. I hope the second half is near as good as the first.
Yeah. I think as the night progresses, these players, they get a little more loose, a little more hot here, and they feel it. Because I was mentioning that last week, towards the end of the night, we saw a lot of these launch pad plays. I haven't seen any so far, so I'm a true believer that these teams get a little more comfortable as the night progresses, and that's when they start to go for these more riskier plays. But here's the overall leaderboard from today, and wow, okay, we were talking about it. LB at the top. Do they even need a booyah, Matchroom?
Right now, it doesn't feel like it. They can just kind of do whatever they want, and that should be scary for everybody, because remember, we are looking at the tail end of the group stage right now, and so with LB just doing LB things, That means the fact that it's making it harder for everybody else that's trying to vie to not make it to the last chance qualifier. So the more dominant we're seeing teams like LB or Wasaka or even Ozarks to a certain degree be, if you're a team that's kind of struggling right now, team like Syndicate, gotta go for those murder kills, it's gonna be rougher for you because there's just less kills to get at the end of the day, and that's less points overall. You're always vibing on this music.
You gotta get it. The war drums, man. It's like the war drums. Hey, we are ready to go. Game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get it going here. This is going to be Day 5, Groups A versus Group C.
All right, so we got one more game on this map before we make a switch over. Question comes into play, how are we going to see everything kicking off? It's like we're starting to see the plane come into on fashion. No surprise, we're seeing Onu going ahead and making a little bit of a drop of their own. The plane path coming in from the south, going to be kind of a little bit shifted to the west north, all considered, ending it right in between Shipyard and Bullseye. So pretty much plenty of opportunity as we're looking through everybody. But look at this very interesting drop coming out from Onu.
Yeah, they got the island all to themselves pretty much. And there's a couple zip lines that we can see there connecting the island. So that's one thing I really do appreciate about these maps is that they don't really force teams to get bridge cut, right? Like there's multiple options. They can swim, they could take the bridge, they can take the zip lines. So there's no real threat to the early game on dropping on these islands here, in my opinion, of course. But Ozark, oh, we know what this is. The blue zone, early game, high density loot here, boosted. We got R15 looking to take a early game fight here.
Oh, Ozark, though, they're coming in. They got the guns. There's so few options. R15 was just caught with his pants down, man. He didn't even have his gun out at that stage. First blood going over to Ozark. R15, we got to see reposition on the outside of it. Already been spotted as well. Oh, Superman, they got Kryptonite coming at you right now. So few options to work with. Ozark is just hunting down anything that moves, and R15 is in some trouble.
Yeah, you got the VSS out here too, and Ozark, they are clearly coming out on top right here, still with 4 up, and they got multiple angles in the compounds and also on the high ground of the roof here. So let's see if they can seal the deal. Oh, Kathy!
That angle!
Disgusting.
That angle was so dirty.
Through the window. You have to assume R15, they're going to punch their ticket here very shortly. You have to assume. Unless they clutch it out, you have to assume that.
I mean, where do you run? Every corner has just got a different Ozark person back behind it. I mean, okay, you got to knock onto one of them. What can you do from here, though? Mitigated options all considered. Still just rolling around, doing a good job on being very all over the place, so that way Ozark can't quite get a read on what's happening. But is it going to be enough to get away? Bestia is just trying to make a run for it and might find an opportunity.
Launchpad!
Let's see, go!
Yes! 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 Safe. That's what you like to see there. That is what I have been waiting for. The clutch launch pad play right there. And yeah, they lost 3 teammates, but guess what? They evacuated the area in style, Matrim. In style.
And that's what it's about sometimes. The fight didn't go their way. They wanted the loot, but it seems like Ozark wanted it just a touch more. But survival, and that's important right now, because there's a decent chance off that reposition, maybe managing to get some survival points in, because that's going to be big for them at the time. You can see you're starting to get a little bit of a brouhaha starting to develop over here. It looks like IT is going to have a little bit of company with TM pretty close to them, just along the outside wall of this. I don't know if IT is 100% work. Now they're going to be, as Rubio just gets a good angle into everything that's going on here. Drone already down, so just a quick res, and looks like just trying to get out of this fight.
Yeah, a nice little time turner right there to soak up some bullets to allow the pick up on their squad mate, as it does look like they're pulling back. But they lost them once again, and we can see IT, they don't want to take this fight right here, but Team Money, well, they need these points.
Yeah, I mean, this could be a big fight for them. They've got control. Oh, spots out, good reposition. Trimble on the outside of this. We're gonna go ahead and take down MVPs as well. every single point right now pivotal, as there are only going to be 2 more games after this one. We're still in the thick of the early stages. Circle did pop. It's kind of central, kind of southern, not too much to be concerned with. Most teams should be able to make it in pretty cleanly. But, I mean, I like this. This is a much more unified TM than what we were seeing beforehand. Feels like now that they've had a chance to get their loot in, not having the same like contested drops, they're coming in a lot more controlled.
Team money, baby. That's exactly what they needed. You nailed it on the head. And to kind of double back to, the solo from R15, I just kind of wanted to make a point that solos do have very important roles here because we've seen it multiple times tonight alone that solos were able to avoid getting taken out early, which would most likely get them 0 or 1 point, and survive to the late game. Heck, it was game 1 that there was a solo from, Team Money that was able to get 2nd place, 9 points. So, yeah, I think the placement point game for solos is super strong here. And talk about being super strong. Well, look at that on the left-hand side. Shout out to the observers here. All super strong here tonight in their performance to bring us the action and showcase top-notch Free Fire.
Especially, we've been talking about like the meta developing as it goes. Our spectators are doing a great job of just being on top of the action because as you have a game that's developing like this at the competitive stage, it's really hard to know where to be all the time. But man, our observers are just right where they need to be time and time again. So much love to them as get a little bit of a scenic view of the approaches coming into play and a little bit of fun that could be developing.
I think IT placed 2 landmines right there. I think that's what we were looking at. They're in the guard tower, and they placed 2 little landmines. That's not obvious. That is so obvious.
But see, it's because you're they're going to take a couple of shots, and somebody's going to run up there thinking that they're just going to be able to catch them because they're not going to take shots all the way into them.
The only thing to make that more obvious is to put 2 glue walls around them, so it creates even more cover. Totally not obvious. Totally. No one's there. No one's there. Not a trap.
Stealth isn't always the key, right? Sometimes it's just about murder. And it feels like that's what they got on their minds.
Yeah, murder on the mind. Let's see. They do have a center position as well to note. So we'll see what they can do because they are the duo. We saw them a little earlier on, lose 2 early on. So we'll keep tabs on that. As right now, a little slow. Once again, to that mid game, you get the early game chaos. The slower paced mid game where everybody they're just kind of playing the zones, looking for some additional loot, looking for some safe compounds to look at the mini map, come up with the game plan, and then late game around 15 minutes maybe. It's just nothing but gunshots everywhere, and then booyah.
Well, I mean, I kind of like the way that it's functioning right now. You get the early game action, and then everybody gets a chance to kind of reset, get the information. And then everybody is taking smart fights. And that's what you want to see. There's a chance, sure, you can just run out, guns out. That works sometimes. But coming in with a measured response, it shows the fact that everybody is trying to take the most opportune fight that they can. And that's what you want to see, specifically at this stage of development for everybody, is an awareness on where their victory and their keys to victory, and specifically how they want to move towards those key victory moments. And it just seems like so many of these teams have that already.
And talk about moving to victory, the solo right here from R15. Talk about not having the luck. They're trying to avoid everybody. They're hugging the edge, like all the way out here on the edge. But they ran into a team of 4, Matrim. Unlucky.
I mean, yep, that's what it's going to be. Bestia, you tried. You're trying so hard, but, I mean, there's just nowhere to go, man. There's not even a specific requirement for anybody to have to move to be aggressive into this. They know he's by himself. Minimal options to work around. I mean, maybe just try to wait him out and annoy them enough that you might be able to get something with it. But the zone's coming in now. It's Prince on one side, Freestyle on the other.
Dead.
Minimal.
Look at that,
minimal
though.
options. But that JP that got the kill on that?
Yeah.
Ozark's running right into it.
Oh, okay. Flacco. Ooh, Flacco, we see you. And, well, look at this. Skull Breakers in the guard tower. 4 squad mates deep. They got the glue walls out. They're trying to avoid the shotgun shells right here getting sprayed upon. But Flacco behind that boulder applying so much pressure from behind. Anytime an SKB squad mate pops their head up, Flacco has the tap on him.
The problem with it is there's a couple other people involved, most notably LB. That's make it kind of problematic for Ozarks, and Ozark now having lost 2, they were trying to play the patience game, but it's gonna be the glue walls that give time specifically for Skullbreakers to survive the onslaught that Ozark was trying to bring.
Wow, glue walls OP right now. Put it in the chat, please do it, because SKB, those glue walls, it saved them. It stopped the push, and well, Ozark, they're trying to get out of here now, and they might get taken out in the process. Look at this.
Trying to get away from it. Looks like they should be able to get one in the distance. Some range coming through, but Flacco coming in big right now to try to keep his teammate alive. Now the question comes to play, how does he get out? Can his teammate provide that same level of support to try to make it into the position? I don't know. Very minimal options. Nope. Third party coming in. Now it's just time to go. Another glue wall. It's going to be TM off to the side of it. Ozark realizing its problems. They've just got to retreat, but there's so few safe options to work with. Flacco just leaning in, and you got aim like that. There is opportunity to be found. Now I'm trying to make a reposition away from it, realizing the fact that it's still going to be TM. It's causing the problem. Flacco on no life. Where can you even go? The other member from Ozark going to be bumping into JP at any given moment. Ozark trying their hardest to survive a very bad situation.
Yeah, talk about hitting your shots. Respect out here. And those guard towers, I like them a lot because there's some nice sight lines up there. But Flacco, talk about map awareness, taking full advantage of those little holes in the guard towers where you could peek out from up there and get some nice shots. But Flacco is making sure to take advantage and take shots through those holes. And that's applying a lot of damage to SKB right there. And, well, they were able to get 1 kill out the process as well.
Yeah, and starting to get an idea on what's going on in the other parts of the circle right now. It's still brewing in awkward situations. TM repositioning now, getting pretty close to DK, but it's a little bit around the clock tower situation. Is it looks like TM is going to be maneuvering on the opposite side of what's going on. Now, DK is playing kind of down to the southwest of everything. So with this, TM might wrap back around. So we'll have to see who's keeping an eye on who in this situation. But Ozark, man, they just want to live, and Prince just won't let it be a thing. The rest of the crew, JP, just coming after anything that Ozark tries to do. They do go down in 11th place, and it was just hunting down weakened squads. JP aware. Keep in mind, they spot out what was going on beforehand, and that's just 3 points to them. They're making the smart call.
That was definitely some cat and mouse, though, not going to lie. And talk about cat and mouse over here. DK, they're in the tunnel down below, and Team Money, they know. The grenade to start the fight right here. And Rubio, scythe in hand, swap on over. Going to be popping the time. Turner soaking up a lot of bullets and getting a ton of intel right here. That DK, they're in the tunnel. Take them out.
I love that. Use the glue wall that was thrown down by the other team as you're trying to make your push. Get the angles to work with it. Viola having just range for days on the opposite side of it all. There's just so few options to work with. TM making the step in, stepping back away from it, perfectly timed, back and forth around what's going on through here. Just absolutely showing dominance in everything that's going on.
Wow. We were kind of talking on the halftime break, like some teams talk about feeling it. They went to the locker room. They got the pep talk. Team Money, one of those teams with the pep talk. But Wasaka trying to make the push. They got a couple glue walls right now that might help them bridge the gap between their little boulder uphill and ONU inside the building. But the zone is going to start to close here very shortly, and I think that's why we see Wasaka making the smart call, pulling off here, not risking it. I like this a lot.
I mean, it's just mutually assured destruction. If both of those teams stay there, they're both just going to die. So Wasaka realizes that, steps away. ONU very happy that that's going on right now, so going to go ahead and make their way to the west as this goes forward. Wasaka also going to find a couple of opportunities to move forward and a couple of new fun toys to potentially play with as they go. Circle, you can see, pretty contained. Team Money getting those kills, getting themselves a money position as well, as I think that we're going to see 2 different teams potentially converging on it. So TM, this is now going to be a reverse of what we just saw a second ago. They were the aggressors. Now can they defend up against 2 different squads coming in at roughly the same time?
And Wasaka kind of playing some psychological warfare. Like they pulled off and they went east, but now they're pulling up right behind ONU. Once again, Clock Tower, such a hot spot right here. And let's see the fight about to erupt.
Oh, ONU has very minimal options to work with right now. Wasaka's got the angles to work with, but Grow Zero takes a ton of damage inside of this fight. Wasaka's just going to have to step away from it for a moment, just see if they can find a way to make a push into it. Jump it down. Jonah's going to try to find a couple angles to work with. He's going to go down. Wasaka's trying to hold the top of this one, but has to be absolutely cautious as it's looking like it's coming apart for both these squads very quickly. Now 2 members apiece. Trying to step away from it. Wasaka's trying to find a new angle. Grow Zero's still up. And you can see it's just navigating. The firefight has been heard on the other side of this. It looks like Team Money might just be looking on the outskirts to try to see who's going to potentially leave this fight and catch them the moment they have to step out. As the circle did shift away from Clock Tower, so all of these teams going to have to move.
Yeah, Grow Zero with the hair, too, to match the style. We saw them on the top 5 kill leaders one of these games here. So let's see if they can perform the same right here. But Team Money, I really do appreciate how they have a nice spread using those fences as cover, really capitalizing on their sightlines and gathering so much intel right here, Matrim.
Yeah, this is a huge fight, as whoever gets control of this is potentially going to have control of the entirety of the South, as there is minimal cover inside the next circle. It's mostly just trees to play around, as I believe that Skullbreakers has one of the few key points inside of it. There's a couple of dips that I think can be played around different points in this, but Team Money, they have the numbers advantage on everything that's going to be going on. Wasaka is going to be coming in and Pincered Point, and it's going to be Anu on the other side of it. So really, they're just having to be careful because TM is, I think, aware of where JP is playing to the north of them. Skullbreakers, though, still just kind of vibing up in towers, as it's been very good for them so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they have managed to keep 3 up, too. They've been under fire for some time, but kind of back to the Team Money, I believe this is their best game yet. They got a ton of kills. Now they got the zone to their backs. They're going to be right there on the edge, and, well, they ended up getting a couple more kills right in time to make the mad dash across the terrain, across the new field, because next zone did pop, and Team Money, they're running right towards JP.
I mean, they've got a couple of pieces that they can play around this when they've got the rocks, and that's going to be a big factor to work with. TM trying to make sure that they get as much use as they can out of those blue walls, running in. Rubio's trying to find the angle, gets in a lot of damage, started off trying to make sure to navigate through this one. This is a very aggressive Team Money, but it could be a problem as good Lord. That fell apart so fast. JP just takes that one with authority.
Yeah, and I think Team Money really underestimating those sight lines from the Skullbreakers and LB from across the way, across the terrain, who were taking some third-party shots on that push. Team Money, they were so tunnel vision on JP ahead of them that they kind of let that the angle to north slip underneath the radar.
Skullbreakers got themselves a problem, though. They're not inside the safe zone, and they've been pissing off a lot of people in these positions. So now they have to leave. And they've got 2 different squads that are just waiting for them to step out of it. LB is playing just to the south of their position. OG is going to be to the north of it. LB is just going to have the master angles to work with at the time, and the hillside as well. With what's going on, they have to be very careful. They have to not step too far out into JP's line of vision. But it looks like they've just decided that's going to be the way that they're going to send it. They've kind of caught in between multiple angles, and I don't know. LB is just trying to make sure some type of damage control. They're using a little bit of this dip in the hillside to see if they can find some type of angle to work with. But OG is really caught up in taking the shots right now into what's going on down the hillside as well, but not into LB's favor. OG now looking back in the Skullbreakers positioning, and this is a very vicious 4-way fight, as every single time one of these squads leans a direction, another squad starts taking advantage of it and making sure that they can get the use out of it. LB is just leaning into this one piece of cover that they've got with this rock, using the glue walls and hoping the fact that their aim is going to prove true enough to get them out of the situation. And right now it is. They're just running into the open. Wow. This is just so brazen. These guys just feel like they've got control. Dominus runs in. OG goes down, and my God, LB has no fear.
Booyah! Woo. About time. LB, they thrive underneath the chaos. They thrive underneath the pressure. They're definitely caught in a pickle, right, Matt Trump? They were getting shot from 3 different teams who were pretty healthy in that late game on the edge of that last zone, and they used that boulder and that glue wall placement so well that it just kept them alive the whole time to really take a step back, relax a little bit, and focus one team at a time, and that's exactly what they did. LB, getting the first booyah of the evening for themselves. We're kind of talking like, do they even need it? Do they even want it? I think they just answered it right here, right now.
I mean, they've got so much points. I mean, they are just feasting as far as
Yeah.
points go for the day. That was a ton of kills to be had there at the end of that one. So Lord only knows. I didn't get a chance to glance down and see how they have all together. But again, we're talking about it. These point consumers make it so much harder for everybody else that is just trying to find some type of points. Like you saw Team Money. You were talking about it, Dave. They needed themselves a big game. They managed to pick up some kills. They got 8. But it was just, they couldn't manage to make it into the end game because of the amount of firefights that were going on around them.
Yeah, definitely Team Money's best game yet in my book.
Had 0?
Wow, they were putting so much pressure though. Like they're applying so much pressure for pretty much the entirety of that game too. Wow. Not able to capitalize on their guard tower position up there and get some kills underneath their belt. That does surprise me as well. But one thing I want to note here is look at Ozark. We saw him early game.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot of placement points. No placement points, actually. But those 4 kill points. That's why I think it's really important for these teams to, if they're confident in their gun skill, to try to get these early game team fights, right? Because if you can get some early game points, that will offset the risk moving forward in the game if you do get taken out early and you don't get those placement points. I think it's all about just consistent points every single game here, and for me at least, that's a nice way to offset it here.
I mean, whenever you look at it on the total points and whenever it lines out, sure, Ozark went down in 11th, but point-wise, they actually end up closer to 8th overall, and that's a good place to be. If you can't be walking away with just consistent 20-point games like LB, then the least you can do is just make sure that you're getting consistent points every single game. So that way your bad games aren't as bad as they could be. Because when you walk away with a goose egg, man, it just makes so much pressure on the game after that because you now have to make up for it.
Yeah, the only goose eggs that are good are the golden ones. And look who's not number 1. It looks like that halftime break. Oof. Oh, only 1 point, man. Only 1 point. Almost so close there at the end. They're going to be giving up their spot to another contender, Tad 11, at the top to be the top kill leader of this previous game. But here's the overall leaderboards, and LB with that booyah. Wow. It goes 71-47.
Look at
about the gap right there. That's a huge gap. To be exact, that's going to be 24 points. So that's equivalent to, what, 2 booyahs? They are at the top matchup.
It's harsher than that. LB, if they had 1 more kill, would be in 3rd place off of kills alone.
Oh,
they are presently tied in 5th place off of kills alone. That is nuts, man.
Yeah, you have to assume that they punched their ticket to be considered a top 8 team to go to the finals. Now, with that in mind, though, other teams, I hope they're practicing. I hope they're studying LB. I hope they're reviewing footage, reviewing the VODs, because LB, they are going to be that team that you need to make sure that you could compete against. Because right now, they are like the number 1 contender in the lobby, if I'm not mistaken.
I 100% agree, but I want to follow up. We've been talking about points eaters, la da 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 da. I know, guys, we're beating you over the head with it, but that's because we're trying to figure out who's going to be going to the grand final, who's going to last chance qualifiers. That's why this is important. This is a great example of it. Look, LB 71 points, Wasaka 47. Then look at how close it gets after that. 1 point separates out 4 teams from 3rd all the way down to 6th, and then we only have 3 points that separate between Skullbreakers and Team Money. That is how compacted it is because you have so many points in those first 2 teams. It makes it so much harder for the others, and it makes it just so compacted. So every single kill now becomes so important. As Dave, it's music time, man.
Hey, I'm just happy that Ozark and Wasaka are popping off here today. Those were the two teams that I had my eye on here today to perform well based off of last week, and they are doing just that. But matchup, it is time for Kalahari. Calamari, baby. 2 more games to go. Let's see who claps back. Will it be Syndicate Stepdad? I know that's a player you're rooting for here tonight.
I mean, we've saw some good performances coming out from Syndicate. It's been a struggle today. It just feels like, I know, I made the joke earlier, but honestly feels like wherever they go, somebody else is just like, nah, we're going to mess with them off over here. So with a reposition out, Syndicate now high T yet again around pretty close to them. Looks like Syndicate going to make their way a little bit further south, but that's just going to be closer to OG. And this is where we talk about rotation moves, because even if you can get some loot to work with, if everybody is still out to just harass you, it makes it so difficult in these earlier stages.
Yeah, it does. And what makes it even more difficult is playing with 3. And that's exactly how many that is will be participating here for Syndicate. But DK, the Duel Kings out here looking to square up, get into an early fight against Ozark here.
This is a team you want to fight early. Ozark seems to be real strong in the early game.
Last game, they did get clapped, though, early. Remember, we just talked about Ozark and how they had 4 kill points, but they got taken out real early with placement points. So hopefully Ozark can come out on top of this one, because you have to assume they're looking for placement points now, because they want to be top 8, and they're not going to be playing tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, Group A. So I think these last 2 maps, you really want to capitalize on these points.
Yeah, I believe that we've got groups B and D tomorrow. Ozark just lining up all next to each other. There's some strength in those angles, but man, it makes it so scary whenever a nade comes that direction. Ozark just trying to get the information to work with right now. And remember, Duel Kings, I believe, was our first round winner today. So we know that this is a strong squad, has a lot of capabilities. There's a lot on the table for both of these squads, but you can see that it feels like they're both just trying to make sure that they can keep the information and awareness on where the other team is moving, while trying to allow 1 or 2 members to step away, get something to work with in the firefight, or at least contain an angle. With this, Ozark looks like they might have found a way to kind of move over to the west just a little bit more. So now, DK, while they had the high ground, they're going to lose the advantage on angles, as it looks like Ozark is going to start trying to find ways to encroach against that high ground.
Yeah, and the thing that concerns me, though, is how much time both these teams are using right here. And I'm bringing that up because I see Team Money up there to the west. I see Skullbreakers to the west. Yeah, oh, great visual right there. And then down to south, ONU. So there's a couple teams in the area that once when they start to hear these shots, they might decide to third party this. And both Ozark and Duel Kings, they are spending a ton of time here trying to decide who wants to take the first move.
Well, I mean, there's some strength in position, kind of, but this is so close to the edge, you have to assume that the circle is not going to favor them. Team Money, though, now finding themselves pretty close to Skullbreakers, and that's going to make its own independent problem, is, fortunately, they are at least going to be inside the circle, so not the same level of concern on this one, but I don't know. This is I do agree, this is a very awkward situation brewing between a lot, and Skullbreakers, I don't think that they saw this one coming. Little bit of shots going through, but don't get a knock. Team Money had a lot riding on that one, so you can see Rubio trying to reposition for it, but I think that this could be the capabilities to narrowly escape. I'm going to take some damage off of it, do manage to get down the hillside.
I love how sweaty, and that's exactly what's happening right now, how sweaty these players are playing right here, because they recognize the importance. 2 more games to go. They need to make sure to acquire as many points as possible, because they will not be playing tomorrow for their group stage. So the sweat factor, it starts to get ramped up just a little bit here, and looks like Skullbreaker is coming out on top of that one.
I mean, good flanked position coming out from Blanqui. So finding the angle onto that, taking down Rubio, who was kind of one of the key factors in how we saw that Team Money was wanting to play this. So with this, a little bit of a reposition. Oh my God, look at this out of nowhere. Duel Kings comes up and says the fact that we're going to come for duel with you. Quick pick off of this one. So got to be careful as they crest up into it. Team Money, though, 1 member, just like that, and pinched between 2 different teams. Nowhere to go. So few options. Going to try to use the glue wall, but I mean, there's just too many angles. And now the question comes to play, Skullbreaker, you continue the hunt? You've got a new contender. It's going to be DK and that high ground, but it's going to be a sneaky reposition coming out of Skullbreakers. I think are going to be able to flank around this on 2 different points.
Yeah, they're pushing uphill right now. They're about to get the collapse in. It's going to be about timing. You need to have the timing. Skullbreakers, they need to push up this cliff at the same time. Let's see if they could do that. I do see a grenade getting lopped over there, too, between the blue walls, and we see a ton of damage coming on out right now. But Maxima, they need to provide some support because their teammates downhill are just getting picked apart, Matrim.
That's why you see the push coming in real strong right now. Finding the angles. Marco's in some trouble off onto one side. And Skullbreaker still got 3 up. But it's a navigation between glue walls as it's just starting to be coordinated off. So minimal and options and vision. Skullbreakers get spot out. Embar goes down quickly. Bush coming in big right now. Trying to be sneaky and everything that's going on. Spots out now going for the flushes in it. Skullbreakers managed to get the res, get the information. And now Gomez on the run. But yet again, Polanski's got vision on it and looks to be following.
This whole area to the north is just bad luck. Bad luck for everybody here. And Gomez punching that ticket right there for Dual Kings. And hey, you deserve it. You deserve it. Skullbreakers only losing 1, Matrum, but look at the kills. They have 7 kills. That's equivalent to a 4th place finish in placing points. And they are not even done. They're just getting started.
They have almost the entirety of the north third of this circle to work with. And that means that the fact that they're going to be coming in so much more refreshed than so many other teams. Ono is kind of close to them, but not really. So we'll have to see how both these teams opt in navigating it. Meanwhile, the center of the circle, Dave, is, lack of a better term, an absolute mess right now.
So you mentioned Onu. They took out Ozark. Remember, those 2 teams were getting ready to fight up there. So while that whole 3-way standoff we just witnessed up there near the shrines, Ozark, another team that was really looking to capitalize and get some points this game because they have been performing quite well. Well, they got clapped, so they're back in the lobby. They will have 1 more game to go. But this is what I like to highlight. Wasaka on Calamari, and I call it Calamari, it's Kalahari, but it has a ring to it. Wasaka, they like to go Refinery, which is dead center. It has great sight lines on a lot of the map, and it really showcases who's a good sniper too. A lot of sight lines up here. And Wasaka, at least comparing them to last week, have great success utilizing Refinery and getting a lot of kill points and placement points. So they are pulling out the same plays here in this game to be expected, because if it works, no reason to change it up, Matchum.
This is an interesting shift. It's a very hard shift to the west, and a lot of teams now were hoping for a more centralized circle, trying to use that geometry to your advantage, and new problem now having arisen with everything that's going on is most of these teams, most notably Wasaka, right along the edge of it, means the fact that LB is going to have a pretty difficult rotation. Anu, though, making use of your favorite toy.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Oh, hold up. Where are they going? Okay, right there on the edge. Woo, right there. So they launched that bad boy. Perfect spot. The thing is, though, Wasaka on the high ground and LB right beneath them. Onu, another 3-way standoff. Yes, they did take out Ozark very early on, but can they repeat the success because Calvin is already dead?
This is a very aggressive position coming up from Onu. Right back behind. Gonna get the vision onto Adele and gonna go down with him. Now, they've got the hillside to work with and can creep up and find a different angle to play from, but I like this. LB has had their casualties thrown back into him, so now he's going to start to try to reposition away from it. Onu stepping away as well. Just getting a little bit, realizing, hey, this might be a bit too much, so let's try to step away from Adonis. Oh, he's not going to go. He's trying to go for more shots. I don't know if this is who you want to shoot up against, Milo. This could be a big problem. Prince now going into it, and this is a duel of fates right now. Dominos up on the top of it, looking down in, but Onu has to be careful because Onu could find themselves way too close to IT.
Domino's hitting him with that pow right there on the cliff with that glue wall. I mean, talk about building your own cover, your own little sniper tower up there. I love it, man. I love watching these pro players utilize these glue walls because, you learn something new. they could take into your own personal game here. So looking over here, though, LB, they're going to be staying back just a little bit, a little longer, playing it a little slow. And I'll bring this up because Syndicate, I see at least the duplicate trio going to be pulling in from that side as well, that west. So we might see LB get Sam. Before we get to that, we got Prince Milo on the high ground, trying to land these grenades inside that little building that IT are currently turtling up in.
Just waiting for a peek from that window right now. Prince got to be careful, though. He's getting pretty close for this one. He really wants the nade. It could be a game changer for them. Oh!
Got him.
Beautiful toss. Prince coming in big right now. Sanji's on the backside of this one, near on no options to work with. Prince coming up yet again, but he's going to go down. It's R15 Bestia off to the side of it. Onu was making committed play into this. Do get the wall, do manage to get the res, but now are in a
danger
ton
zone.
of trouble.
The danger zone. I've gotten taken out from the danger zone multiple times, so this thing does not play around. And whoo, they were able to pick up Prince right in time. Prince, Milo, go back in the building. What are you doing? What are you doing? Too risky for me, but gonna be popping out, take some shots. They're risking it for the biscuit here, man. Oh man, in the danger zone as well. Like, slow down. Slow down, Milo.
8 kills right now, and this duo is not slowing down. They're still looking for more. You can see Prince now trying to get more information as it moves forward. They are very far to the north in a lot of what's going on at the time. Other teams are rotating around them, but with this, they are going to have a controlled entrance point into the safe zone, so shouldn't be too afraid, all considered, if they can manage to just hold it out. LB, though, getting caught up with JP at the time. And man, LB, this is the team you do not want to be around because they have so little to lose. They've got so many points. They will kill you just for messing with them.
LB, what we did it. The points they have, what was it, like 27 or something crazy. They have a huge amount of points to really work with, and I have to agree with you. They are playing with nothing to lose right here in their final 2 maps. So if there was a team that you want to avoid, especially if you're a team that you need points desperately, LB is that team, Matrim.
Prince 1 on the other side of this one. JP looking around here. They are aware of the fact that LB is close, trying to make a little bit of a reposition, but coming in, Dona gets a good shot onto Ambar. Now, Freestyle on the outside, trying to see if maybe they can harass and come through Ravish, making sure to get some damage into it, and LB comes in, but it goes down fast. Freestyle making sure to put in some work on the other side of it, still getting caught up. Glows goes down, and LB gets demolished off this one. Comes at the cost, but should be some quick reses. On the other side of it, you can see now R115 coming into play here. Or 115, R15 coming into play there. It's going to be Wasaka on the other side.
Clutch player right there. Prince, man. So many plays tonight that we've been able to check in with Prince and just watch their skills just pop off and come out on top. And another great player, Kathy. We've seen Kathy with the quick scopes all evening long, and we talked about Kalahari, a map that favors snipers. Oh! Did we just watch him get one tap? Yes, we did. And that just proves my point even more with these snipers. Like, this map favors sniping, and you got to hit them shots.
OG is in some
Row
trouble,
0,
man.
still popping off, too, in the kill feed. Look at that.
I mean, JP, though, is feeling the different types of momentum that they can be grabbing right now. They've got a couple of opportunities to work with, and they are making sure to exploit them. Still need to make their way into the zone, but, I mean, OG, dude. Everybody is shooting at OG right now, and there's so few options. The Rock just trying to make it to a Rock to survive, and R15 gets some vision on what's going on with Onu on the other side of it, and it's starting to get a little bit more of an information processing system as everybody's getting an idea on where all the fights are going to be brewing from. Now just a matter of time to make sure that you're prepared for the approach that's going to be incoming.
Superman with the hand cannon launching some small grenades, and Camatron trying to get a grenade chucked out in return. R15, they are going to be right there on the edge. JP down there to the south. So Wasaka, they have some decisions to make, and they need to make them quickly, as they're going to be stuck between 2 different teams. And on the opposite end, we saw Syndicate get collapsed. It's up to Prince, though. Yeah, what can JP do? They got 5 kills so far. I feel like Wasaka are going to be dead to rights here just because you got R15 up there to the north and JP to the south, but it is Wasaka after all, and they have been able to pop off these very clutch situations.
We're starting to see JP get a little bit more information on what's going on in the south, specifically sending Toddy out to get a little more better of a position, so that way they before it's got out it. Onu, though, is moving into a position. Meanwhile, to the north, you can see it's going to be R15 kind of getting ready to brace around what's going on with this one. But, oh, my God, JP just continuing to try to find some type of opportunity in the south. You're going to have to be very, very careful off of it because Onu does have a very strong defendable position. Prince creeping his way forward right now and trying to eye it out. Who feels like they might have an opportunity to exploit here, as everybody did manage to make it into the safe zone, but this is a tiny circle, and you can see everybody showing hesitation in how they want to move through it. Onu moving closer and closer as finally we're going to see Wasaka get taken down, and just down to 3 teams remaining.
Surprise! That's what happened right there from JP from behind saying, hello, see you later. Now we got 2 more teams to go. Superman in the front line trying to unload these slugs right behind the glue wall right here. And it's going to be an all-out shotgun battle to end game number 5.
They're putting in so much work. JP just trying to survive. Freestyle the last one up. Circle now closing. Can you time the meds right? Kathy down below. Minimal. I wait to see it. Get spotted out. Oh! That was so close. Woo!
What? JP? Wow. That was freestyle with the final blow too, right? That was on that.
I think that he saw it. I think the circle got the official kill, and I saw that properly. I think that he might have gotten a shot off to get damage, though. I couldn't quite tell because we shifted over just that last second.
Wow. Oh, man, that happened so quick, too. That's the name of the game. Like, these players, you really have to come prepared when you get into these late game situations. Okay, so they did die to the zone. Wow. But you have to come prepared, Matchroom. Like, you have to have your abilities ready. You have to have your time turners ready to go if you have them. You have to have those glue walls lock and loaded to provide that cover just in case you do get up close and personal. And we tend to see a lot of these players, shotguns already loaded. One of the favorite guns to pull out, whip up at the end when you are that close. But
we should talk about that.
I like to see it, though.
It's so difficult whenever you're dealing with this level of play to communicate what's going on in that chaotic of a fight. I mean, it takes everybody making sure that they're feeding over information at very key moments, saying, I saw someone here doing this specific thing and like moving this way, or I got tap damage onto this person. We all need to converge here. It is so chaotic, but inside of that, you need to make sure that you're processing all the information and feeding information over towards your IGLs, towards everyone else, so that way they know what to do and what the right call is at that last second.
Yeah, and that's a great topic because for me, I feel like it's a team game up until that point, right? I feel like at the point, it was a team game. It's like, okay, we all survived. We made it here to late game. But I think at the end game like that, it comes down to individual skills, and you just have to be able to perform in those split-second decisions that you're forced to make, because can you even communicate at that point, Matchroom? That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just all-out chaos. You got the zone, you got grenades, you got glue walls, you got time turners, you got shotguns. Like, there's no time to communicate. You just have to hit your shot, and you have to win and get the booyah at the end of the day.
That's a big part of it. But at the same time, look at the coordination and look at the way these teams are moving together. The way, whenever we just see all the glue walls go down and everybody's up on top of each other, you got to hit your shots. But at the same time, the moment that the call goes to take that shot, you just got to go in fast. I mean, you got to make sure that everybody comes in together. A moment of hesitation can lead there, because we've seen that. Like, if somebody is just a second late to a fight, that could be
you're dead.
Still doom. You could lose
right there, for the whole team,
being outnumbered. Yeah.
For the whole team. Man, that's crazy. Like, I definitely don't envy these players because I know if I'm in that situation, it's going to be moving so fast for me that I don't know if I'll be able to pull out these clutch plays like they have been here tonight so far, which I am really impressed. Like, they have been doing a great job. So, if you're a player and you're watching, great job. Honestly, like you guys, you have been popping off, everybody. So give yourself a round of applause because we do have one more game to go and match them. This last game, that's going to be it for groups A and C. So they really need to make sure if their goal is to be top 8, they need to make sure they get as many points as possible, kills, and even the booyah, because tomorrow they're just going to watch their lead slide down all day from the sidelines.
And that's so hard. I mean, just sitting there watching destiny be in somebody's hands potentially means you got to make as many points as you can. I got to say, though, I've got my eyes on JP in this next game. They impressed me a lot that last round. They're very close. Now let's see if they can manage to pick it up and get themselves into a safety position so that way they can finalize their position in the grand finals. One game left to go, Mustache Dave. Everybody's in the air, and let's see where we're headed.
Let's get it. So Matra making the call for JP. I love it, man. That's a good call. That's a solid call. You got Freestyle been popping off. You got Prince who has been popping off here. Prince won, by the way, because we do have two
That's gonna be a little
Princes in
confusing.
the lobby.
I want Prince one to fight Prince so that way they can just decide which one of them gets the name Prince. Please, can we do that?
We'll have it arranged just for you. And talk about having it arranged. I see Syndicate, I see Ozark, and I see OG. Oh, here we go. And this is on the other end. We got hot drops everywhere, Matchroom.
This is big for so many different teams. TM getting 2 knocks early. Skull Breakers, this could be a big problem for them. Already having to reposition away from this one, but TM, they're grouped up. They've got vision and what's happening right now, and now get a second to regroup. Did they find out where Plone was going with this one? Maxima trying to figure out if they want to make the call into it. I think it's just a safety play right now, seeing if maybe they can inflict some type of casualties on a reposition. But Team Money is just so stacked up together. I don't know if they're going to provide the opportunity.
Yeah.
Spotted out. Maybe. Yep, looks to be the case.
Aola does have a P90, though. For me, one of my favorite guns. I don't know if I'm biased, but it does have 50 bullets in that bad boy, lock and loaded, and you can't miss up close. And that thing
Viper
just shreds. But on the opposite end, OG. Yeah, so this was the hot drop on the opposite end. We had Ozark, we had OG, and Syndicate. They are just in a cluster right here. And I think the goal, I know we were talking about team communication, but honestly, the goal right here for me is survive. It is don't die. Because if you die, this is the last game. Last game for your squad here.
Or you could potentially take out somebody that you're concerned with. That is also a factor that can come into play right now. Plunky does get spotted out.
There's a push.
Maxima repositioning away from this one. Viola, let's see how Team Money is going to continue to play this. I mean, Maxima is just kind of having to retreat away from it, and it's all about safety points right now. Just trying to see if maybe you can get some type of survivability, just making the way up the cliffside.
Team Money. As every single game progress here tonight, every game they've been improving. Just compounding these kill points, compounding these placement points. So shout out to Team Money. I know they're one of the teams from Group C that I had my eye on here in Game 1. Game 1, kind of a flop, but since then, they recognize, okay, we need to pull it together, and they have been doing just that. So we're kind of going back and forth. We had that fight up at Shrines. Looks like it did sizzle out. Now back down here, Syndicate and OG.
I'm caught up in this. Viper's positioning is so great for this that there are so few options the other team has anything. Like, Viper is just beaded in right now, and you can see Syndicate just forced to hunker down. Can't really do anything, and OG is just surrounded, waiting for it. Grid on one side of it. Looks like Viper might retreat away to do a little bit of a regroup, but that said, this is such a strong positional play around what's going on here that a lot of that information I feel like had to be fed over from Viper, or at least assistance based off of that. Only 2 members up for Syndicate right now, and a very easy control position coming up from OG.
Plus, you got the Rock with the Woodpecker, one of my favorite guns here, besides the P90. High damage AR, scoped in, right on top of that duo in that guard tower. that duo, they know they can't move. So the Rock can kind of take some pepper shots if they want, the suppression fire, and just allow Viper to get right here. And that's exactly what's happening, Matchroom.
Yeah, I mean, where are you going to go? The Syndicate, you're just kind of stuck, for lack of a better term. OG is just now swarming, and they know they've got control. There's been very little time to loot anything else. Grenade goes a little bit wide, but Viper, being in that position aggressive early, just walks right up into Syndicate. No fear in the eyes coming out from these guys as they're just going to take it down. All right, so pick that one up, and Syndicate, you're in some trouble now. DC just trying to get out of position, and so few options to work with. IT now caught up in a fight with R15, as it's going to be Wasaka that's on the outside of this one as well, and three-way fight potentially brewing, depending on how Wasaka wants to play it, and they're just content to rain damage and everything going below.
Yeah, right now it's a three-way fight, but then you got LB coming in from the east and Dual Kings coming in from the west. So there's about to be a bunch of teams, and we can see on that mini-map in the top left-hand corner all the different colors, the different numbers. There's about to be a bunch of teams just stacked on top of each other. And as we're watching this, it looks like DC from Syndicate, they were found and they were taken out. So that's going to punch the ticket for Syndicate here in the final match of the evening.
Diaz already got a kill. What is he? He just is everywhere. Anywhere there's a big fight that's going on, Domadios is just there, killing people and just consistently performing for his squad. Wasaka now realizing the fact that, okay, they've got to be a little bit more careful. They were trying to spread out to see if they can get a little bit more control over the situation. IT still moving forward just a little bit more. You can see it's going to be Trimble moving in, does get some vision, and yet again on the outside of it, it's Domadios. Time and time again, man.
Wow, trying to get the pickup right there inside the time turner, but IT, they didn't slow down, and they stopped that pickup. So now R15 down to just one, and like you said, on the outskirts, LB, Domadios getting the first kind of knocks out here, and well, that's going to be the call to action for LB to continue their reign of terror. They just do not care. They don't have a care who needs points in this game. They don't need points, in my opinion, Matchroom, but you know what? They're going to continue to get them. Dominios in the front lines with the scythe. Oh, dude! Okay, swapping real quick. I was about to say.
Point blank, trying to go for the sniper. This is just swagger, dude. He is just coming down here, no fear, finally gets dropped, but look at how long it took him to do it. This is what I talk about. LB doesn't need points, so they can just ruin anybody's day that they want to.
Man, and they're still going at it too. They got a couple glue walls right there to provide some cover. And you know what? This bought a lot of time for the solo from R15. This is exactly what they needed because IT, they were flexing out of that compound and they were trying to pretty much seal the deal and punch that ticket for R15 back to lobby. But that third party from LB, it put a halt to it, right? It forced IT to really reconsider pushing out of their compound. And instead of being the aggressors, now the defenders. So that's a blessing right there in my books for the solo from R15.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm trying to look at how it's stabilizing out. Oh my God. What are you doing? They're a force of nature at this point inside this circle, and it looks like that force of nature's got its eyes set very firmly into IT, and much to their disdain. IT very minimal in options to moving forward. Bestia is still alive for R15 in this area as well. So IT and R15, what are you going to do? Is LB now starting to make the push down? R15 and just trying to see Bestia seeing maybe they can get a flush into this. MVPs, I think, has a read that something bad's about to happen. As Bestia, last one up for R15, gonna go ahead and throw down the glue wall. Where are you gonna go? You know the fact, you've got to hear the fact that something's coming after you. LB, just trying to take this a little bit slower to be careful with it, is going to allow, I think, both of these to at least get a little bit further away. But Bestia, no, you moved into the position that LB already knew about. This is not the play, man.
Yeah. Bestia, kind of crazy right there, not gonna lie. Was on the balcony, take some shots. Like, LB was 1000% concentrated on IT. But, like, that was their objective, take out IT. They had the intel on them in this compound, but then Bestia popped out, took some shots, made a lot of noise, and pretty much waved a giant flag, said, hey, I'm over here. And look at, now they're the ones under fire here. And most likely you have to assume will be taken out. And that allowed MVPs to pull out. MVPs is gone. Said, see you later. So Bestia, mistakes were made, I think, in my opinion, Matchroom.
It's maybe the best gunfight. This is where you've got to clutch it up. I mean, if you're Bestia, you have the potential here to put in some work. It is scary to say the least. 3 people swarming around the outside. Can you sneak away? TM coming in right back behind this one might provide the opportunity. Crocs already down. Deal already having to move into position. Glows in some trouble off of it. Bestia does get spotted out. It's going to be a deal that does take it down. So now TM pouncing at the prime opportunity while LB was on the hunt.
Yeah, Bestia is going to be wishing to take some shots back right there. Like I said, LB, they were on the hunt for IT to take out MVPs, the last player alive for their squad, but Bestia creating a nice distraction for them to pull off. And, well, Team Money pulling up here, looking to get some additional kill points on the board. I love the aggression here, especially in the last game. They recognize, okay, we need as many points as possible. Still with 4 up, with 4 kills. Oh, it looks like they'll be running right into Dual Kings on the high ground, who are set up in a nice position to possibly take them out from above. But Dual Kings, they are playing this one nice and slow. They're being quiet. They're laying out the trap right here. And, well, Team Money right beneath them. I like this a lot. I like it.
Team Money, this is a big fight. Both these squads right now. Slow creeping through. I think that DK is aware of it now. Marco's got the side angle into it. Not a lot of damage coming on to TM. TM being the aggressor in this. Looks like they found a vulnerability point to come out off of it. DK already getting 2 members down, but TM starting to return on the other side of it. DK now with just 1 up, trying to survive through everything that's happened. Does go down. So in the end, Team Money comes out on top in a very strong position.
Did that come down to a 1v1? I think so. I think so. That was insane right there. I definitely thought DK had the upper hand because they were in a position to set up the defense right there, and we saw Team Money kind of push up that one little ramp. But Team Money,
the damage just wasn't there. They
when they're feeling it, they're feeling it.
All right, so back in this, we can see Anu making a little bit of the position, getting in a safe zone to the north. LB has some vision on it. That's the harassing shots that are coming in. LB did manage to get some distance away. To the south, though, a lot is about to go down. We've got JP going to bump into Osaka in just a moment. OG also in that angle. Ozark, I think it's going to be one of their last members, if not their last member. And Flocka moving into there. And yep, you can see it's going to be Grow Zero getting vision on what's going on with Toddy. Already going to be a flush into it. But JP's Prince on the other side gets a knock as well. A little bit of back and forth as JP still on the hunt for what's going on around him. Spots it up, just trying to take down Grow Zero. Doesn't manage to get him down just quite yet. Spray's going a little bit wide onto it, and you can see it's very, very close between them. If maybe you can get a little bit of a high ground vision on it, not going to opt into it, stepping away.
Go, 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 go.
So close. Are you going to spot it out? Are you going to see it? Do you have an idea on where he's at? It's just back and forth. And if they do not know where he is, he can come out and backstab them at the worst possible moment. And they haven't spotted him behind the crate. Grow Zero is surviving this one. He's so sneaky right now.
They're looking, though. They are looking. Look at that. The duo from JP. They're trying to check all the corners, all the angles. And OG making their way up the cliffs. A trio. They got the Rock still alive with that classic Vector that we saw the Rock pop off earlier with. Next zone does go up. So JP, Grow Zero, OG, the solo from Ozark, all 4 of these teams, they're going to have to push. It's going to be a bloodbath. Look who gets the next zone. Team Money. Team Money looking for that money here, but here comes the final push here of the South, of Refinery, and on the opposite end, okay, LB still in the game, Matchroom, and we're clocking in.
I mean, they have a couple of angle points they can play from, and this is just 2 members up. Onu on the other side of it still got their 4, and we're going to come see it come back to the building where everything seems to be happening over on this part of the circle. Onu do need to make their push inside the zone, but they've got to be cautious at range. Guess what? It's Team Money.
Team Money.
Money has the vision on LB as well as Onu, and this is going to be a problem. Grenade's going to go a little bit awry, but can they bounce it and around? And yes! Tapping it off the glue wall. It's going to be Prince putting in more work, more damage. The push comes in, the glue wall comes out, trying to go for the res. Minimal vision, all considered, but Onu just waiting for this to go away. Pops down, quick exchanges between him. Kelvin goes down, but Onu do come out in the end. So good play coming out, but guess what? They still got to creep forward, and it's going to be Money that has the vision on any movement from them.
Oh, watch the angles. Watch the angles from the windows. And you have to assume they'll be like, where'd he come from? Where'd he come from? He was a bush. You didn't see him coming. He was a bush. Onu. They need to be very cautious, though. Look at this. Team Money. They got the high ground. Monkey with the snipes, too. Can he connect another one? Going to be tapping Prince pretty low over here. And this is where I want to see Team Money. I want to see all 4 of these squad mates. They need to focus fire. They need to make sure to take out Onu right here, right now, while they have the advantage before looking forward in the zone. Like, this is their time to make sure to get some additional kill points.
That's a problem. They got a lot of damage off, but they didn't get the knocks when they needed to. And Mario got a big one whenever he needed to at that moment. OG pretty close to position for Onu as well. Onu walking into a very hazardous predicament right now, but JP still got one up. It's going to be Rabkush trying to go for it. Does get the down, but has to be careful. Zone's going to be fine and very minimal options to work with. Still trying to make his way forward. 3 life. Going to get spotted out. It's going to be Prince that takes it down. So with JP is eliminated. OG trying to run up the hillside, but back behind it, it's going to be Skullbreaker. Still has one up. Onu getting some vision on what's going on with Team Money. Starting to get a little bit more of a controlled position off to the north. Getting that separation away from everything that's going to be going on with OG right along this cliffside. Meanwhile, Milo runs right into the thick of it, getting in some damage. Mario right back behind him on the other side of his rock. Dancing around from this, and this blue wall is doing so much work for both sides. But whoa! It's going to be Onu coming up big at 9 kills already.
1v1 Matchroom. This is it. The final booyah of the night. Game 6. Group A. Group C. Who comes out on top?
On one side, good shot coming out from Mario. Thinks that he's got the opportunity, steps forward, throws down another glue wall. It's all about creeping closer to the center and seeing what work you can get. Grenade's going to go out and go a little bit wide, but does connect for some damage. Doing the dance around the glue wall, seeing if they can get more damage. Mario pretty low on life now, has to be very, very cautious. Viola trying to play low, gets spotted out, and it's going to be Onu that gets the win.
Let's go. Mario getting the heal off at the end. And, of course, Uzi OP. Okay, Unyu, how they managed to continue to survive, though, right? Like, Team Money had dead to rights in my books here at Matchroom. Dead to rights. But they managed to stay alive. Not only that, they got caught between, like, 2 different teams over there after the fact. They deserve that win. Honestly, they deserve that win because they worked so hard to reposition in that late game.
If you're Team Money right now, realize if you had gotten 1 knock when you saw Onu running across that opening, it wouldn't have been a 1v1 at the end, most likely. I mean, Onu, though, fighting against OG, fighting at the same time against Team Money, having to make a desperate cross, coming up at different times. I mean, they played the hell out of that game. Let's be real. That was a master work on how to survive in a terrible spot.
Game 6 results, baby. Here we go. That was some good Free Fire right there. Honestly, that was some good competitive Free Fire. Wow, that was something else. Good game.
I mean,
good game.
Again, we're just at the start of this. Look at where this. We're not even at the finals yet, Dave. This is still the group stage. Think of where it goes from here.
Yeah. It goes group stage, top 8 go to finals, and then there's going to be a last chance qualifier, and then at the end of the last chance qualifier, the grand finals. So if this is already a level of competition matchup, I agree with you 1,000%. The grand finals, it's going to be 18 games, 50K prize pool. That's going to be insane.
I mean, okay, so here's our leaderboard for the day. You can see a lot of our teams feeling. Let's be real. If you're Onu or if you're LB, feeling real good right now. Wasaka back behind that as well. I would say probably all the way down to R15, including JP. JP, again, you got a new fan in me. You guys impressed me today as well as OG Street. But now it's getting to be a little bit scarier down below R15 official. Skullbreaker, Ozark, Team Money. All of these guys got to watch tomorrow, and that's scary. That's nervous.
I'm surprised. We saw DK like all night long, always in some type of fight. Like
they won the first
involved. Game. Yeah, they won the first game, but look at their kills. Like they're always in a fight. But what's happening? Are they not winning the fight? Or are they not capitalizing on these knocks? Like, what is going on with the amount of action? Like, you have to assume their damage numbers are probably really high. But at
Well,
the end of the day, you can have all the damage you want. It doesn't matter if you don't get the kill.
one of the things that I will say is being aware of how fast you can finish a fight is very important. We saw Skullbreaker, we saw Money, we saw IT, we saw Duel Kings. A lot of these guys were involved in very long fights. Most notably, I'm going to remind you back to Skullbreaker when they were in the tower and it was just glue wall, glue wall, glue wall. While they were getting shots out, they were just trying to survive in a position and had so much aggression coming at them. That's just more and more attrition that's happening to you unless you close out the fight fast. And I think that's one of the reasons why we're seeing something like Duel Kings not getting the highest amount of kills, because their fights are so prolonged. Other people are jumping into third party and stealing the kills and stealing the work that they put in.
Well, talking about Duel Kings, let's check out the overall leaderboards. Let's see where Duel Kings find themselves. Just a reminder, Group A, Group C. This was their final day. Tomorrow, there's one more day, new group. So whatever points Group A and Group C acquired here, and you can see the group, you can see the little indicator. You got A, you got C, you can see the letters by their name, so you know exactly which group they're in. This was their last day to play. So the goal, top 8. Wow, Team Money today, they broke top 8. Look at that. 7th position. But is it enough, Matchroom?
And with Club 9D, Northblood, and Fuego right back behind them, I'm going to say not too likely, unless Club D can somehow go, unless Club D, Northblood, and Fuego can all three go all day tomorrow without getting, 6 points and 8 points? That's highly unlikely. But I mean, Wasaka in their own regards needs to be a little bit nervous.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
Let's be honest. Let's give a big shout out right now to Invaliditos, who hasn't even got to play yet. They play tomorrow, and they're already still in the top 8.
Yeah. They're gonna be coming into tomorrow's games just looking for consistency. While Team Money, they're gonna be sweating bullets, man. And shout out to Ozark today. They did an okay job. They showed up. They pulled up. They tried to get as many points as possible. I respect it. They climbed up these overall leaderboards, and just not enough. Just not enough. And just looking at Group C in general, Group C, they have 4 teams in the top 8. So pretty strong group, all things considered. The question is, how many teams from Group A and Group C will remain here in the top 8 and go directly to the finals? Well, Matchroom, I think you're gonna be here tomorrow, right? Covering that.
No, I think that we've got another set of casters that are coming in tomorrow, so we both get to kick back and watch. That's the fun way.
It's gonna be
tomorrow.
spicy. It's gonna be spicy. Who's gonna get the booyahs?
big.
Let us know in the chat as well. Let us know in the chat who you think's gonna get those booyahs tomorrow. And just in case you are tuning in, well, here's the schedule for tomorrow. It's gonna be Groups B versus Group D. Last day of Group Stage, Matchroom.
Yeah, and then after that, last chance qualifiers, and then we will finally know who is going into the grand finals. So one more day tomorrow, then we've got last chance next week. Then the grand finals kick off, and man, I've said it several times. Yeah. I cannot wait to see where this is going. Just look at the level of competition we've already seen. Wait till we finally get to see the best of the best across all 4 groups come together into the grand finals. It is going to be amazing, and I've got a couple of favorites I'm starting to root for as well, and I'm going to be watching tomorrow to see how close that we get and who's going to be going to that last chance qualifier.
Well, Matchroom, it was one heck of a night to cast some good old Free Fire with you tonight. Huge respect to you. Huge respect to the observers, the teams playing, everybody involved here. An amazing event. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be it for today. One more day of group stages. Make sure you tune in. Same time, same place. And don't forget, keep playing Free Fire. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.